Chat, we are live. You may notice a slight difference in my appearance. I don't know. Who are you? Don't worry about that. But I felt like changing it a little bit. Uh I Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Hold on. You guys need to know this. You guys need to know this. Okay. So we're going over the Cinder situation, right? And you guys know how I ask God for a verse before I start any stream. So I want you guys to look at this. Look at this. The glasses gang? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to look at this. Bro is a part-time fire. Dude, 3 people have said that, you're the third. Okay. So this was your notification, chat. And this is relevant. It's Galatians chapter 5 verse 19 and 21. Now the works of the flesh are obvious: fornication, impurity, licentiousness, idolatry, sorceress, enmities, strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels, dissension, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and the like. I warn you, as I warned you previously, that no one who does such things will inherit the kingdom of God. By the way, some of those being mean selfish ambition, jealousy, discord, which means like arguments or these things, dude. Literally everything that Cinder was doing. I know a little bit about it. Rivalries. So like putting yourself your own success above other people at all costs. Things like that, right? I was like, God, I asked him, but I've had Discord since 20. Okay, Discord means okay. You get the idea. I'll explain. But that was kind of crazy to me. That was 2018. I've had it since 2017. So I'm like worse than all is. So what I mean, and I'm totally flabbergasted by it, was I asked God, is there anything that we can take away from this? Like this whole situation that happened with Cinder. And that's what he gave me. So I thought it was incredibly, incredibly on point.
Well, guys, it took a while, but after 4...
I can't hear this. Why can I not hear that? That would be why. I am using the wrong audio source. There we go.
Months, 2025 has a...
Is it too loud? Let me lower it a bit. Just a bit. Want to feel old? I was in the 3rd grade in 2020. Oh, bro. Don't say that. That sucks. Don't tell me that. Take away the knowledge of which I've been cursed with. Don't tell me any of that. Also, this camera's in a weird position. Like it's moved. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let me start over. Okay. I don't know everything. I know blanket, and I'll probably go out of my way eat the cough drops. I'm not gonna eat the cough drops. They're there in case I need them. But as far as I know, I don't need them right now.
Well, guys, it took a while, but after 4 months, 2025 has officially had its first apocalyptic level VTuber drama that has caused an industry-wide disaster. This is about one of the biggest independent VTubers on the planet and how for years, while pretending to be her friend, tried to take away opportunities and suppress the success.
Video's louder than me. Let me lower it a little bit.
Of an even bigger independent VTuber by the name of Bao. This all started when
let me know if you need it to be louder or quieter.
A very well-renowned artist within the VTuber community published this document titled "Terminating My Work with Cinder."
Oh, dude, whenever Twitter just drops a Google Doc about anyone remotely important, it's just like, oh, your heart just squeezes, bro. You're just sitting there and you're like, I don't know, but maybe half of that I could lower it from here.
Document is such a bombshell filled to the brim with proof that it's currently sitting at almost 3 million views, and it hasn't even been up for 24.
Chat, I'm incredibly late. I'm 7 days late. Please don't hate my guts. By the way, before I forget, before we continue, I need those of you who are on PC. It's still quite loud. I don't think it could be. I mean, maybe. There we go. But much better than before. I want you guys to be able to hear it. Don't get me wrong. Make sure to go. I'll actually do this. For those of you that can, in fact, I'll start it at the same point. Let's do that. For those of you that can, please open a new tab. Just put this video on mute. I want this guy to get his views that he has so graciously earned. Massive thank you to Muujin over here on YouTube for compiling this video that I, who do not have the qualifications or specifications or know-how to put that together, graciously did. So thank you, man. All credit goes to you, brother.
4 hours. That artist wasn't the only one. There are multiple documents with a lot of proof published by multiple people, including Bao, who usually stays away from drama. And as time goes on, more and more people...
I should mention, I have like a baseline knowledge of who these people are. Greetings, Rathu. Yes, we're looking at the drama that has been exploding on the two-dimensional sphere of content creation. What have I stumbled upon? We're looking at the drama that has been happening regarding one VTuber by the name of Sinder, because it's been apparently really big. I'm a content creator. I guess I need to know. And I thought, might as well bring you guys along. I also had no idea what to do for stream, but that's a whole different thing. I'm incredibly well put together. But you guys get the idea. So, Sinder, we just started. I put the link over there. 2-hour-long video. It's like close.
People are coming out with their side of the story. You have to understand.
Well, I am. So if you're going to be here, you're going to watch all that. I just want you guys to have that link open in a separate tab if you can, so this guy gets the views that he so graciously likes.
This doesn't just involve Bao. This involves multiple very successful VTubers being backstabbed by that person. And that is barely scraping the surface.
Okay, I know who that is. I know who that orca is. That's what she is, right? Yeah, I know who she is because literally any content creator who who's remotely aware of what's going on knows who she is. The video I would watch playing Minecraft. Yeah, pretty much.
This here. Not to mention that her apology was one of the worst.
Feel free to actually have me open or have play Minecraft. Gura? No. It was Shy Lily. I heard she had a crazy reply. And we're gonna get to that. I'm a minute in, and dude, I'm so good at content creation. I've dragged a minute for 7.
I've seen in recent memory. To say that this is apocalyptic is an understatement. The entire VTuber community is shook to its core. So what the hell is going on? Well, you already know the drill. Let's talk about it. So as I mentioned, the VTuber at the center of this...
What do you mean AI? Is that AI? I don't know.
So what the hell is going on? Well, you already know the drill. Let's talk about it. So as I mentioned, the VTuber at the center of this controversy is Sinder, but she didn't always go by that name. She actually started off in 2020 as a YouTuber by the name
Oh my god, she was the one doing those? That was her? I remember seeing my friend listening to one of these in 2020. Oh, dude, I clowned them so hard. What are those? These are like ASMR roleplay stuff. So there's a lot of dude, I caught my friend. It was freaking hilarious. I have not let him live it down. I gotta bring that back up.
Tashi.mp3, making a variety of different ASMR RP videos, like "You're Such a Good Boy for Me" ASMR RP. A year later, on June 2021, she would create her Twitch channel under the name of Sinder and would start streaming. During that time, she would build herself a small community of people. But the real turning point for her was a year later, on June 2022, when she would officially do her model debut. The whole thing was a resounding success, and people fell in love with her model almost instantly. At the time, very few models looked like it, and it was seen as innovative, unique even. Not to mention that it had 2 very big reasons to keep your attention, I guess. During her debut, she would spend close to an hour showing off her model and the different features that it came with. After her debut, she would get a lot of traction. People really liked her model and her personality. Nanolist was also able to gain some of this traction because she was behind the design of her model. This allowed her to start receiving many commissions from other VTubers who wanted a similar style, and as you can see from how many followers she had in 2023, she was also able to grow exponentially. Sinder would understand that one of the things people loved about her was the design behind her model, so she stuck with Nano and would keep commissioning a new model or outfit every few months. Now look, when it comes to VTuber models and VTuber outfits, this costs a lot of money. We're talking thousands of dollars. The fact that she was able to do this every few months already showed the resounding success that she found in content creation. Her average view count on Twitch was unstoppable, reaching thousands of concurrent viewers
Chat, we'll be
today,
there one
ranking
day,
her
and I
as the
won't do something like
471st most watched content creator on the entirety of Twitch.
I'm gonna
Part
get
of
to
the
number
reason
one.
of that growth was that she was able to be a part of the VTuber friend group that included
Right.
the biggest indie VTubers on the planet. She was seen as a dear friend, and as far as the others knew, that's how she saw them too. Always collabing together and always being a part of their tier lists or whatever other challenges they do. But that's
Yeah,
not
dude,
all. Her
honestly, so what I do know about the situation is that she apparently was like trying to financially rob these people of opportunities, where she would like talk bad about them to potential partners and making it harder for them to succeed. And these companies don't want to work with them because they have this person who knows these people so well saying, actually, maybe that'd be bad for your business. That's freaking evil. That is just an evil thing to do. Like, period. Sabotaging people who consider you a friend, sabotaging anybody, is just crazy thing to do. What a ruthless move.
success knew no bounds. In the beginning of 2025, she announced that she was a partial owner of the company GamerSubs.
Oh.
This is a huge...
Well, if she's still a partial owner of the company GamerSubs, I know what, it's them? Oh, dude. Chat, we might never get our own flavor. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I'll see how I feel about it when I get an email about it. GamerSubs, sponsor me. We could do so much funny stuff. It'd be great.
energy drink company that sponsors
Oh, dude, I have to make a mascot character. I have to put him on a little drink cup.
many of the top VTubers in the world. She even released her own shaker with them, and the art on the shaker, of course, was also made by Nanolist, and it sold out completely.
Oh.
All this to tell you that she was extremely successful. Guys, she was never in any controversy. As far as anyone was concerned, she had a very warm and kind
Go for
personality,
Duddy.
as
I'll
well as a
keep eyes
really cool
open.
design.
Whoever
So
reaches
of
out to
course,
me
no
first.
one could have ever expected that it would just take one document to make her entire successful career come crashing down in an instant. But that's exactly what happened. On April 26th, 2025, Nanolist, who at this point had become...
By the way, first off, I would like to say, I don't know if anybody else has ever said this, but Nanolist, massive respect. Dropping a bomb like this about arguably one of the most popular, or like G Fuel, I'll whoever reaches out first. Dropping a bombshell like this on one of the most popular VTubers is terrifying. Like that, you don't know what kind of... The internet's unhinged. We all know it. But like, especially VTuber fans. I'm looking at you, VTuber fans. You guys scare me. You guys are scary, and I don't like it. And behave yourselves. This is not a jab at any VTuber. Please don't hurt me or my family. Nothing but respect. It is good. Shout out to Nanolist. I know I'm no one to shout anybody out, but I just want to say I respect that greatly. Good job. Thank you.
completely associated with Sinder's brand, had published this tweet saying, "Hello, I'm here to share something that has affected me personally and hurt others. This was very hard for me, but I feel like it's necessary. Please do not send hate to anyone on my behalf. This is all I want to say." Linking a Google Doc with the title, "Terminating My Work with Sinder." And in the replies, one could see the biggest...
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if he's going to read them, so I will, but we'll figure it out. So, Cottontail VA sounds familiar. It took a lot of courage to speak up about this, Nan. Okay, I guess I wasn't the only one who said that. Yeah, thanks. Okay, shutting up now. I hope you're doing okay. Thank you for doing the right thing. Sending you so much love. Oh, and Shy Lily says, we'll always be here to support you no matter what. No one deserves to go through this. Your feelings are valid, and we'll make sure to heal from this. I'll always have your back. Shoto says, we love you, dude. Sarue, is that how you say your name? Her name's confusing. I can't understand why people pressure others to avoid certain individuals. Customers or not, just to serve their own interests. Especially when there's no personal conflict. It's manipulative and completely unfair. Sorry it happened to you, Nano. Probably should have read her article first.
Independent VTubers on the planet
learning about it.
fully and unconditionally supporting Nanolist with this document. So let's take a look. Nano starts off with introduction and notes, saying, I wanted to share my experience with Sinder and Red manipulating me, using me, and dragging me into drama while sabotaging, slandering, and spreading lies about people I thought were her closest friends. So before we continue, you know who Sinder is, but who the hell is Red? Well, Red, otherwise known as Redacted,
Wasn't that
has
her,
been Sinder
boyfriend or something? Or boyfriend manager? Wait, no. Sorry.
manager since she started content creation. This has been a well-known fact. If you knew her or worked with her or whatever, you typically did it through Red. He was somehow involved all the time. So this document wasn't just talking about Sinder, it was also talking about him. Nano continues, not only do I no longer wish to work with Sinder, but I want to share what I've endured over the years and shed light on what she has been doing behind people's backs to protect artists and friends that may be experiencing something similar. I struggled a lot with writing this document and wasn't sure if what I felt and experienced working was real or just burnout, but I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working with Sinder. Note, based on working with Redacted and Sinder over the years, that I am sure they speak for each other and there is no reason to believe Red was acting without Sinder's consent and knowledge. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team. English not being my first language and the language barrier, I discussed the situation, my feelings and thoughts with native English speakers who helped me put them into words so everything is clear without any misunderstandings due to lack of English skills. Note, any names that are censored here were censored because the creator in question did not provide consent to have their name revealed by the time of me posting this document. So this is already a handful, right? It's alleging many things.
We got receipts, baby. We got some DMs. The D to the M's, the direct to the messages. My goodness gracious. This is gonna get heavy.
Thankfully, Nano has a lot of proof in DMs. So she starts off with the section, slandering other creators. I will start with screenshots showing them speaking ill of other creators and spreading rumors while manipulating me that it's all in our best interest. In addition to spreading ill rumors, they also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in the editor not having any time for new clients, which will be important later on. The screenshots below show them showing their affection and appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make other clients appear
that is like, let him continue.
Problematic to manipulate any future decisions regarding commissions. So these are fairly
okay. I don't know if he's gonna read them. Where do you want me to put the wheat? There's a chest there. You know where it is. A freaking course. I wanted to understand it better, especially if I cancel her for the second time. LOL. Well, with blank, she's given a lot of bias and priority at GS, sometimes over Sinder. Right. So Red is also participating, and we can't confront them about it. Plus, she's gone 3D lately. Bao's been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago. It's constantly picking up artists that we work with. We gotten to know her better being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way with the things she does. We wanted to try and safeguard our most important artist from her since she's already taken our editor. Dead SpongeBob emote. And I don't mean taken like she doesn't work with us, anymore. He does, but he has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects, such as having a schedule. Also, one of Bao's MV music video editors is the one that did the Boss Rush MV, and we're 99% sure she told him not to do any more with us. Oh my god, they're flipping it. They're flipping what actually happened. That's crazy. But like, model art is the most important thing. That's a VTuber's entire image. Well, yeah. Okay. So let me also say, there's going to be things I don't fully understand because, well, I'm not a VTuber. So if I get anything wrong and someone happens to know better than me on this, do let me know. I'm totally willing to admit I don't know something. But I'm going to go into this kind of making assumptions and trying to see assumptions on like terminology and kind of how things work. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So take what I say on certain things with a grain of salt. You guys be the judge.
Recent DMs from January 2025. It starts off with Nano saying, of course.
Oh, frick. Okay.
Wanted to understand it better, especially if I cancel her for the second time. Lol. With Redacted saying, well, with blank, she's given a lot of bias and priority at GS, which is gamer subs. Sometimes over Sinder, and we can't really confront them about it. And plus, she's gone 3D lately. Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we work with. We've gotten to know her better being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way with the things she does. We want to try and safeguard our most important artist from her since she's already taken our editor. And I don't mean taken like he doesn't work with us anymore, he does, but he has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects. Also, one of Bao's music video editors is the one that did the Boss Rush music video, and we're 99% sure she told him not to do any more with us. But like model art is the most important thing, that's a VTuber's entire image. Well, we love working with you. Sinder wouldn't be Sinder without Nano. Okay, but like, let me tell you the tea about the music video thing. Bao had original songs last year that had music videos by her editor, and the songs flopped. Her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Boss Rush music video between his work with Bao. He says he loved working on it and is super excited to work on the next music video project. The Boss Rush song blows up and he's credited as the editor. I ask him when he's free to do the next project. All of a sudden he changes his mind and is only working with Bao going forward. No explanation. Nanolist replies with a panicking emoji, and then Redacted continues, there's some context missing since we know how Bao is behind the scenes, but basically we don't have a music video editor now for our next Boss Rush project. We think Bao got pissed that her editor did an original song music video for her friends without her knowing.
Oh my god, bro, the self-glaze is crazy. Oh, no, without her knowing, and did it 100 times better than her original song. Dude, shut up. Shut up. Nobody likes it when you self-glaze like that. It's so lame. Oh my god.
And it did 100 times better than her original songs last year that she locked him up so no one else could work with him. And then had him make it public on Twitter that he was only working with her going forward, like a literal announcement tweet. And now she's been barking up the tree of one of our live 2D animators, so like in you, and a Nano model. Nano replies with, yeah, looking for me sounds sus for sure. Redacted says it's so annoying. I don't know, man. She has a way of guilt tripping people to get her way. So these are the DMs from January, and it's already
now, what would be insane is if there's receipts to back up everything that was being said. But that would be a dude, could you imagine? That would blow the lid off of everything. So, oh my god.
Kind of bad. Nano continues in the document saying, Red asked me to cancel on one of their closest friends, Bao, by asking me to cancel my work mid-progress, manipulating me into thinking it is okay since she has many connections and she'll be fine anyway, so I wouldn't feel guilty about it or worry too much. It was and is upsetting to me that Red contacted me specifically to check on me canceling the model I had planned with Bao. So these DMs are from August 2024 with Red messaging her saying, did you cancel models? Nano said, I did not. Red replies with, Nano arc delayed to 2026. Nano replies with, I'm scared to cancel with Bao, to which Red says, you shouldn't be. She has so many connections. She'll find someone super fast. Did you already design her outfit? I remember her showing it to us at WeebCon, to which Nano says, yeah, I can give her the design for free as an apology gift. This is so scummy, man.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. This is like, why would you do this? Okay. She had to, these two, because, okay, I have some context that these two never really operated alone. And it kind of, she had to have known that it would have come back to her. Like, I'm going to be honest, on the internet, this doesn't fly. Like, at all. People eventually talk. What was the game plan? Like, oh, you know, it was in the past. Like, no. You messed up. You went behind your friends' backs. Like, let's face it, you guys were at least publicly friends. Apparently enemies, I guess. At least one party thought so. And you just completely backstabbed them. For what? And I'm gonna say this, any content creator worth your salt, you know that freaking collabs are so good because you exchange viewers. You usually, if it goes well, come out of there with more viewers and more people knowing your name. Even if they don't end up following you, exposure is good. Likely they know about you, maybe they don't know you. That's what you're doing. So completely tossing this to the wind is absolutely preposterous. And taking advantage of the goodwill is crazy. She was in a position that many people, ones like me, would be so incredibly grateful to be in. She had incredibly successful friends. She was incredibly successful herself. But the crazy thing is she was greedy. It wasn't enough. This is an insane thing to do. And as a guy who isn't a VTuber, clearly, it's crazy. Because I have a face, I quite like it personally. Matter of opinion, I guess. But you jump in and you're like, actually, you shouldn't make a model for this person. It's just messed up. Like I don't even see the logic. That's just comically
You have to
evil.
understand, commissioning a VTuber model is a very lengthy process. Everything from the initial concept to the design, to the rigging, to the testing. If you don't pay extra, it might take a year. If you pay double, it might take a few months, but it takes a while anyway. And finding someone who's both talented and has a free
It can take a year? I didn't know that.
schedule is almost impossible. So this idea of, oh, she has so many connections is very insensitive and scummy.
Yeah, apparently I'm learning about this myself too. Welcome in, Sev.
Nano clearly is nervous and doesn't want to cancel, but Red keeps pressuring her to do so. Such weirdo behavior.
Okay, rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. If someone is trying to pressure you into canceling a commitment, right? Like this, like where you're like, well, I already agreed I'm going to do it. I'm in the process of getting something done. And they're like, well, no, actually, here's some new information. You need to check your sources. Like, all I'm saying is that this is incredibly suspect. From the jump, I'm like, I would like to think you wouldn't lie to me. But I'm not going to take you at your word.
Behavior. Nano continues in the document in the next section, titled Exclusivity and Blacklisting Other Creators. In the messages below, they mentioned wanting an exclusivity contract, but they didn't want to pay for exclusivity. But rather, when a creator from their blacklist comes asking for a commission, they would get...
So earlier they mentioned that there was a problem because the guy, another editor that had worked on a music video for them that they got from another VTuber, Bao was her name, right? The whale. They take an editor from her and they're like, hey, you should like do something for us. And then he does it. And then he becomes exclusive to Bao. So I didn't know there was exclusivity contracts. This is new to me. Would it not stand to reason that's what the editor did? He was getting paid better. So he's like, I'm working with Bao now. Just period. Dude, this is way more nefarious than I thought. And I'm kind of, dude, I got like my freaking tea. I'm just sipping it. What is happening?
Guarantee me model work for Sinder only, and if anyone asked me for commissions, they'd commission me instead to compensate for not working with other creators. This felt very strange, given that one of the accusations they made was overworking their editor, yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects. The messages below show that their primary concern is that the more...
Matt, have I heard of Osria? No. I have not. Found out about them like a few days ago. Tell me about it. I'm going to keep the video.
Non-Sinder models I make, the less valuable my existing models become. It's hard to say how much this messed with my mind as an artist that by working with other people, I'm somehow making my existing models less special. The following screenshot
doesn't make any sense because they're person to person. That
I'm setting up the blacklist, saying I'm not allowed to work with any new clients or create any new outfits for VTuber 1 specifically, and justifying those things by saying that with each model, my art becomes less unique and special, and therefore
VTuber news. Because these, I'm sorry to the VTuber people, but you guys kind of have this tendency to get some of the most problematic people on the internet into your space, and it's kind of a lol cow at this point. I'm not laughing at VTubers as a whole. I'm laughing at the ones that are terrible, terrible people after I know that they're terrible, terrible people, and there's proof that they're terrible, terrible people.
Sinder somehow will become less special. The idea that my work as an artist and designer is devalued by working with other people is insane and hurtful. After realizing what taking a deal with them would really mean for both my workload and my mental health, I backed out. So this first screenshot is also from January 2025, very recent, and it starts off with redacted saying, I mean, like, if we wanted to have some kind of model exclusivity, what would you need to make that sustainable for you? Nano replies with, maybe you can share one of your ideas and I can check what I think. Half an hour passes by, redacted doesn't say anything, Nano says something, and it's, okay, so I got some ideas for this, I guess. Redacted says, I was driving, what are you thinking? Nano says, okay, so I asked help from my friends, they don't know it's you, so don't worry. So a monthly fee, calculating my monthly earnings, also how long would this be, and if this counts for models I already worked on? Redacted replies with, well, I think the main things we're looking for are for you to not take any brand new model clients and to not make any new models outfits for blank again. So this is them deliberately targeting one VTuber in particular. Anyway, he
Oh my
continues, you'd still
God.
be able to work on models/outfits with all of your other existing babies, and your artwork commissions wouldn't be affected. One of our concerns is that more nano babies means nano models don't have the same value anymore. And by the way, guys, when he says nano babies,
He's talking about the models, right? Who the hell are you to say that, by the way? Who are you to value another person's work? Like, you don't assign a value to it. What is this frickin' guy, dude?
it's a VTuber term, so typically people who will make your model are called Papa or Mama, and the VTuber commissioning them is their baby, okay? Yeah, I know it's weird if you're not into VTubers, okay? You don't have to tell me, but now you know.
Weird.
Anyway, he continues, and second is that there's a few people that we
Okay.
just would rather not be able to have a model from you. Maybe not any new babies at all. The reason why I brought this up at all is that there's been a lot of bias with another one of our partners with certain creators, and we'd rather these creators not have what makes Sinder unique, which is your artwork. Just drama. An hour later,
Are you proud of yourself for that for this? Are you proud of yourself? You should be ashamed. For shame. Okay.
later, Redacted comes up with an
By the
idea.
way, this is just crazy. It's just nuts. They're like, we don't want you taking on any other work because if other people have art from you, that devalues your work. What the what? What a crazy thing to tell somebody. How dare you make art? In doing that, your art is worth less. Freaking nuts.
Saying,
What a
what about
nuts
we
thing
can
to say.
pay blank for you and you don't have to discount it from the next payment, and we'll continue giving you lots of model work, I think around 4 this year right now, but you don't work with blank, blank, or blank at all again, models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with blank or blank before. We also have another gamer subs label for you too, the AFK. This is
What
absolutely wild. Look at how many people they're blacklisting over here, okay?
Dude, what gives you the right? What gives these, what do they think gives them the right to do this? Like, come on people, what are we doing? How did
replies with, is there any way to add a little bit more since blank still asks for art every now and then? Redacted says, we could do it like when blank asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us so that we buy another art piece. Like, so you still get a job from it. Now, I'm sure you're wondering who these censored creators in the message are. Well, now we know. This is the full message, with Redacted saying, you don't work with Bao, Cotton, or Blank at all again.
dude, what a freaking dude, that's crazy. This is nuts. This is nutty.
Models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with Bao or Cotton before. These are, again, very big independent VTubers that called Sinder.
That's another level, bro. And okay, for context, this redacted person, Red, is the manager of Sinder and boyfriend. What the think? What are we doing here? What the hell is this? Hold on. What the whoa. Just whoa. How what did they do to you, bro?
A friend. This is one of the most shameless things I've ever seen.
That's what I'm
Gatekeeping
saying.
art from friends and also gaslighting a very talented artist. It's wild. Now bear in mind, there's a VTuber that's still censored here, and throughout the document you'll see a person of interest called VTuber1. Those got revealed later and we'll talk about them in this video, so don't worry. Nano then continues in the document saying, another example of speaking ill of other creators right after they saw I was working with Shy Lily, trying to once again make the idea of working with other clients seem like I am setting myself up with problematic people who will do me no good in the long run to get me to reconsider working with them.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, I would have immediately called the bluff. In the position of this person, I would have called the bluff at Lily. Arguably the biggest, one of the biggest, because I know Iron Mouse. Everyone knows Iron Mouse. One of the biggest VTubers, and you're like, oh, they're problematic. You think we wouldn't know if Shy Lily was problematic? You think we wouldn't know? Do you for a second think that the clout demons of the internet would not immediately let that be known? Oh, I would have called the bluff. I just that no. There's so I would have. You guys, you smell that? Oh, it smells like bull. It smells like baloney, dude. That is not true.
They also continuously kept asking about my other clients' plans, which for them made the antenna go up and immediately went into slandering Lily. And when Nano says Lily, she of course means Shy Lily.
I know her,
They
bro.
consistently try to reassure me that despite their best efforts, they just happen to keep trying to bring drama in as reasons for me to go exclusive, and that working only with Cinder is them trying to look out for me. So
yeah,
this is
bro, that's weird. It's like, no, you only need me. It's like, you only need me. You and I, all you need. Okay, bro, you sound like a possessive ex. What the fuck?
It's extremely recent, like a couple weeks ago, right? In mid-April 2025, with Redacted
crazy.
saying, "Hey Nano, do you have more plans with Lily besides just the model, like outfits or merch or anything?" Nano says, "Been just the model so far," to which Redacted says, "Okay, her asking you for a model recently just made the antenna go up. She's been acting weird towards Cinder lately and we don't know if something's going on." Nano says, "Oh, that's weird." Redacted says, "Ever since after V-Card launched," which is a VTuber trading card game that Shiloh
Someone needs to rename that. Can we not call that V-Card? I think that's it's knowing VTubers, bro, it's probably on purpose.
really helped launch. Nanolist says, "But what do you consider weird?" And Redacted says, "Lately dipping out of collabs they were both a part of at the last minute and now ghosting her messages. Cinder's raided her a couple times on Twitch in the past week and Lily won't acknowledge Cinder by name." Just like pretty weird petty stuff, I don't know. Nano says, "That's super weird since they both share the same store, lol," referring to Gamersubs, that they both
Right.
have partial ownership in. And Redacted says, "Around V-Card's launch they were talking and collabing and I don't know what happened, but her asking you for a model after that was just weird, even though she said she doesn't plan on getting a new model anytime soon. I don't know, hate
Plans change?
that we keep bringing you into drama," to which Nano says, "Yeah, I thought it was quite early to go for a new model." Redacted says, "Feels like we're gonna have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama." So of course, I don't have to tell you, Shy Lily is also one of the biggest independent VTubers on the planet, and she is someone that considered Cinder a friend. Now we have proof that she was backstabbing her too. Nano continues in the document, "The idea that they need to stay informed and gauge the competition is extremely upsetting and toxic to me. The competition they're referring to are people I thought they considered friends who always helped, supported, and platformed Cinder. When I pushed back, the immediate response..."
You know what also sucks, by the way? You know what sucks pretty hard? This is gonna make it so much harder to collab with like bigger streamers. After this, like if I was a big streamer, I'd be like, well, now I don't know how to feel about the people I know. Like I don't think they'd ever do that. But like now how do I know? Now I feel like this is gonna be, if I were to approach a big streamer, right? Because this is admittedly this is an idea I've had. To go to like a VidCon and then be like, show them my stuff. Show them my cojones. Be like, hey, I think I could do it. And then see if they're like mentorship me. But after this, do you think that's even like feasible? Would if some random Joe Schmo with a weird little mustache came up to me and is like, hey, you think you could like mentor me? And I'm a big streamer. I'd be like, after this, I don't know, kid. You know, like it sounds crazy. I keep hitting the wrong button.
Was blaming the other creators and implying that they initiated it by trying to work with me and that somehow justified their actions. They imply Shy Lily ignored Cinder when she spent over a minute thanking the raid, which you can see in this clip. Let's watch it together.
Ignore what you just saw. Okay. Ooh! Oh my goodness! Hello! Oh! Hello, raiders! Hello! I am playing Berserker. It's called The Last Berserker.
Because I'm the last Berserker.
We weren't sponsored, but the game was really fun, so I just kept playing for like a million more hours. Hello, everyone! Hello!
By the way, thank you.
Pyropop raid! Hello, Pyropops! What did you guys do? I am low-key addicted. I usually...
Oh, she just wasn't mentioning Cinder by name. They know each other. She says the name of her fans. Let's be so real right now, dude. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we freaking talking about? Let's be so honest right now.
Okay, so most people know me for my gacha addiction, but
Right, so I think that's enough proof to see that she acknowledged the raid and did her best to interact with her and her community when they raided her. So this idea that she ignored her completely is totally false.
Freaking
And I think
crazy
it was
talk.
just them hoping that Nano would be too lazy to actually find the stream itself and see Shy Lily's real reaction to the raid. Again, very scummy behavior. On that same day, Redacted and Nano kept DMing each other, with Redacted saying, "Real, is it just Sinder and Blank you've been doing continuous model outfits for? We'll have the demon update list plus final arcade reference for you soon as it's finished," to which Nano says, "I think it is. I have an outfit for Blank planned too. As for Blank, got nothing for now, but she always comes up with something." Redacted asks, "Do you know who's rigging Shy Lily's model?"
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up tough cause you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearin'. I'm hooked and I can't stop starrin'. Oh, baby, I wanna get with ya and take your picture. My homeboys tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes me so horny.
The clown horn. The clown horn after that is actually beautiful. That was so... Oh, dude, that was beautiful, bro. I was unfamiliar with your game, chat. I was unfamiliar. Oh my god. Okay, we're just going back to this. I don't even have anything to comment to. That was great. Congrats, chat. That was... Congratulations. That was fabulous, dude.
Nano
Oh my
List says,
God.
"Gonna be Blank," to which he replies with, "Thanks, Nano. Sorry for all the questions. Just gotta stay informed, especially when it comes to our top artist. Never a break." Nano says, "Don't worry, just don't stress too much with the side things. It's bad for balding." Redacted replies with, "I'm gonna go bald now. I'll keep you in the loop about anything else going on with that." Nano replies with, "The balding?" And Redacted says, "No, you fool, just
Dude,
stupid
Nano's
drama.
funny.
Gotta stay competitive even when we shouldn't have to. Also, your profile picture looks like a guy with a mustache." And Nano says, "Don't go too far on
It
the
looks like a guy with a mustache. I know a guy with a mustache. Anyway, that's
competitiveness, it can get bad. Gotta chill sometimes." To which Redacted says, "Hey, it's not us. We aren't the ones getting a model from the artist of the other Gamer Subs owner out of the blue and ghosting them and refusing to acknowledge them." You know, this is made weirder by the fact that both Shy Lily and Sinder are co-owners of a company, and this is how Sinder is treating her. Her competitiveness knew no bounds. She would probably push a toddler off a bridge if it meant getting 100 extra viewers on Twitch, okay? Nano continues in the doc.
Okay, hold on. Would the toddler survive incident-free? If so, I would also push a toddler off a bridge for 100 Twitch viewers. No, I'm just
Yeah, but
kidding. I
saying
wouldn't do
below,
that.
I wanted to push back and make clear I was uncomfortable on being dragged into drama, and they responded by bringing up more drama and baseless claims, all while trying to guilt trip me. It is ironic and crazy to me that I mentioned not wanting to be dragged into personal issues, only for them to on multiple occasions mention other people's alleged drama. So this is where things get real, because it's not Redacted doing the talking, it's Sinder directly. The DMs were from February 11th, 2025, so just a couple months ago, and it starts with Nano saying,
prior.
"Sinder, just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you since I've only talked about that with Red, but I just don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like
Right.
that. After all, Blank is still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to do this kind of deal. Just wanted to let you know I still love working with you and Red, but I'll understand if things doesn't work out because of Blank. I just love my clients, that's all." 3 hours later, Cinder replies with, "I get it, Nano, and it was unfair to push this on you, but it's just really confusing going back and forth about it. I just get
How
compared to her a
so?
lot, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone's shadow, which is one reason."
God. Okay, wait, what? There's another wolf girl VTuber. What's her face? That's who that is. Silver Veil? Is that her? Veil? Is that who that is? I don't know. I don't know. I thought that might have been it, because in my brain, their models look kind of similar. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's do some investigative work, chat. Cinder. Literally watching a video about this chick. Let's see. Let's look at this. Also, I gotta be careful here. Oh my god. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna make the executive choice here. Uh, yeah, yeah. I would say that's pretty probably what she's talking about. Anyway.
Reason why Redacted asked about not making any more models for her. And when you said, I understand if things don't work out, it makes me feel like you're okay with not working with me anymore, which hurts so much after all this time. I really appreciate you, Nano, and it's your decision who you ultimately work with, but this is how I've been feeling. Nano continues in the DMs, replying with, I don't really see the point of keeping thinking about being compared to Blank. You're so much bigger already. You've done so much more. But I would never give Blank any priority over you. Also, there's not even any model for her being discussed. I just want to sleep clear-minded. Also, I'm fine not doing her models, but at least GamerSup's art stuff would be fine with me. I don't want to be 100% an asshole to her, that's all. And Sinder replies with, it's not me, but other people's opinions of us, and I'm just trying to not get involved in any drama that other people want to talk about comparing us. But I understand where you're coming from, Nano. There's no hard feelings. And Nano says, sorry about this, my mental is just a bit weak. Sinder says, same girl, to which Nano says, I'm sorry for bringing this to you. Sinder then
Whatever.
replies with,
okay, hold on. Pet peeve of mine. I have the easiest job in the world. For those of you who didn't know. Streaming is incredibly easy. I get to sit at my computer, react to online drama that does not involve me. I have no emotional stake in this whatsoever. I just have to make sure I don't say something stupid. It's pretty easy when you don't normally say something stupid. Or really don't at all. This... Whenever I hear a content creator say, oh, my mental state. Oh, I don't want to stream because my mental state. Okay, I understand mental is not all there, and I'm not saying just don't take care of your mental. Could you imagine calling your boss and they're like, I didn't stream today, chat, my mental's all over the place? Could you imagine calling your boss and saying, hey, boss, oh, hold on, I actually have a phone. Yeah, hey, boss, yeah, I'm not coming into work today. I feel a little sad. You're fired. You're done. You're just cooked. I don't know what you think this is. So it always kind of like got to me a little bit, even before I was a content creator. And now after I'm a content creator, it double gets to me. So I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I can plaster on a smile for like 5 hours if I need to. It's fine. It doesn't do me any harm. I understand not wanting to lie and say you're doing fine. You don't have to say that. For the record, chat, I'm doing fine. But like, you get the idea. It's just, come on, let's be honest. Let's tough it out. It's all about showing up.
I want you to get that money. The whole situation is just kind of sucky.
Granted,
I want to just get along. And then Nano specifies that the phrase that she said, I understand if things didn't work out, meant that it would be mostly if you hate me for not burning Blank down from my list. To which Sinder reassures her, saying, I would never hate you. And Nano said, thank you, and same, I'm just an insecure bitch. Sinder ends this conversation by saying, I love everything we've done together and I want to keep doing more. People saying dumb shit online just makes me stressed. Nano continues in the document, saying, justifying their behavior by stating they are simply looking out for me when none of this has anything to do with me to begin with, and manipulating me into being grateful for earning well thanks to them despite the loss of work from long-time returning clients and new clients. As you can see, this is already a handful, and we're barely halfway through this document. It gets worse. The next section in the document is called Concerning My Work and Models as a Team. Another example of going after other clients of mine from before, claiming that having more clients alongside them makes my work less special, with the recurrence of it's just business. Manipulating me into believing that working with her is special for multiple reasons and that I risk losing that special something as a client if I prefer to work with others. No acknowledgement of my reasoning and need of working with other clients due to the nature of my work, solely focused on their issues. I would also like
It's incredibly, I can't even call it narcissism for a very simple fact that there's 2 of them. Now, I can, because I know that one of the first things that Cinder said in her apology was, Red did this without my knowledge, or that was something she said. Crap. Because you're echoing the same stuff that he did, and if you were not aware of what he was doing, the fact that both, you know what? I'll give it to her. You didn't know. You both are just the same type of person, so ultimately it doesn't matter. Hope that helps.
like to note again that this screenshot is one of many occasions that indicate that Red speaks on Cinder's behalf. I was originally concerned with everything going through Red that it may not have been 100% of Cinder's feelings or wants.
Exactly.
I messaged her about it to make sure that he spoke on her behalf and confirmed
Wow,
with both.
dude, I'm coming to the conclusions as he's explaining them. That's, dude, good job. What, Muujin, good stuff. That's like fire, actually. That feels so cool that you do that.
Them,
Thank
this
you.
was the case. So this is it.
Or
Some
maybe that's
people
just
read
how
only
it's
the
written.
first few pages of the document and concluded, wait, this isn't Cinder, this is just her manager. He's probably speaking on her behalf and she has no idea. Well, this right here confirms, no, not only was she aware of what he was saying, but she fully agreed with everything her manager
just what I
said.
said.
These DMs date back to November of 2023.
Y'all watched
and
the
it's
new
Nano
DMC anime? I have not. Is it good? I've heard mixed things. I've heard that it's not like a good whatever. Yeah, I'm thinking too
starting
much
off the
right now.
conversation saying, hey Cinder, hope you're doing okay. I talked with Red and I believe he talked to you already and I thought it would be best if
God,
I just
2
check you
years ago.
personally. Actually, I wanted to know better your thoughts because Red tried to talk to me and I think I misunderstood
2.5.
things. To which
2.5
Cinder
bit.
says, I'm doing good. What's up, Nano?
no, 1.
Nano then says, oh, it's mostly about this. And it's a screen cap of what Red said in their DM saying, not to discredit any of your work because everything you work on is the top of the line incredible, but when everyone's a Nano baby, it feels less special to be one if that makes sense.
F
Kind of been
yourself.
getting the same feeling from gamer subs lately too. To which Nano says, I thought on canceling some models because of it, but then I realized it's not really fair to me. To which Cinder replies with, I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. Bro, what is this, the mafia? Pointing a gun at your head and before shooting you saying it's nothing personal, it's just business? What the hell is this? She then
What a evil thing to do, by the way. Oh, well, since you're incredibly successful and incredibly good at what you do, and everybody really wants to work with you because you're oh so talented, Nano, I actually want to monopolize anything and everything that you do so that nobody else can remotely compare to me. It seems incredibly
continues,
shallow.
of course we love
I hate
working
to
with
be
you
that
and want
guy.
to keep
That
working
seems
together,
super
but if you
shallow.
prefer to
I
work
don't
with
hate to
other
be that guy.
clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help
Instead
grow.
of me. See, oh my god, dude, she does that thing. This type of person upsets me. Oh, but if you, it's like saying, oh, well, I like waffles more than pancakes. Oh, so you hate pancakes? What is this Twitter logic? No, I didn't say I didn't want to work. I prefer to work with other people instead of you specifically. I said I would also like to work with other people. Good. It's not hard. Like, it's really not hard. And I know that we're willingly misinterpreting, but why do you do that? That sucks. Waffles are better. Hey, it was an example. I never said that. I actually am a pancake guy. Nope, actually, wildcard crepe fan. I'm a crepe fan.
And not because you don't like me. Being one of your very first model babies was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with live 2D cutting to improve your skills, and I think that's a big part of why I love the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. I can have Redacted send you a list of our plans for the future and estimated due dates, so just let us know.
She says, boom, completely carries conversation.
What you actually want to work on.
Assuming
That way I
these
have
were
time to look for
not
someone else
sent
if you don't have time for my
directly.
projects or don't want to do them. It feels special to only have your
See,
model.
This is it. Like, she's closing the door. She's closing the door. This is the exclusivity thing that Nano mentioned earlier. She's closing the door. It's like, if you don't work with me now, if you don't have time, then I'm gonna go. If you work with someone else, then you must not want to work with me or you must not have time. Well, it's not, she didn't say any of that. Unless
Art
she
for
did,
all
and
my
then
outfits,
I look
but
like
just
a
let me
goof.
know if you don't have time for me to be an exclusive Nano art baby anymore. Nano then replies with, it's no personal reason. I would never do something like this to you or anyone, but yeah, it's important for my job to reach far, and I
64.
like working on different projects and people. I never ever said I don't want to work with you
That's
anymore.
exactly. See? Okay, thank God. I didn't assume.
I told Red that even though I have my
assumed
other
I was
works,
right.
I will always have a way to get you a priority spot when possible. You'll always be my special baby. Cinder replies with, I also
See, now if Cinder was actually smart about business, she would have said, good, I can use that. And then she wouldn't have been backstabbing her friends. She would have said, hey, Nano, I actually really need your help here. I have this project and we've been kind of rushing it, so I want to know if you're in. Give it. Oh my God, it's almost like business is easy when you're not a terrible person.
Also think it's important for you to work on projects that you're excited about, so I'll go through my plans with Red and send you our ideas to see if it's possible with your schedule. I know he can be a little pushy sometimes, but it's because he's just doing business for me to grow too, and he absolutely loves your work just as much as I do. Nano says it's okay. We'll update you guys ASAP, and Sinder says sounds good to me. Nano continues in the document saying, Red tries to make it look like they never meant for it to appear like they wanted me to be exclusive by framing it as something I wanted, while immediately doubling down on the fact that me working with more people makes my work less special and no longer unique, as if every design is just a Sinder clone. These are DMs also from November 2023 between Nano and Redacted, in which Nano says, so it's about working with...
That's what it is. Okay. Oh. That's what it is, dude. Sinder has this weird main character complex, and her boyfriend, because he's not a manager anymore, but her boyfriend shares that opinion, or like shares that view of her, where, or maybe he gets some sort of like vicarious feeling of success off of it. So it's like, well, anybody who gets this from her is just copying me, because obviously I was the first to do it. So that means I put her on the map, and therefore I have the right to just it comes across very main character syndrome, and that ain't cute. In fact, I'd argue that it gets you completely canceled. By the way, I wouldn't call her a psychopath. People are calling her that. It doesn't strike me as psychopathy. It actually is Machiavellian. Hey, that's what Machiavellian is. Hold on. Machiavellianism. It's actually one of the dark triads. So, impulsive, emotionally cold, remorseless. No. Machiavellian. Manipulative, self-interested, domineering. Dude! It's exactly what that is. She's Machiavellian. Dude, this is a callback for those of you who don't know. I've had this word enter my vocabulary recently as also macabre. So, or for you British viewers, macabre. But yeah, it's very Machiavellian. This is exactly what that is.
Sinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair for me to stop working other models, so I do more for Sinder, which I agree with them. I'm a free artist and I should do whatever I want to do. I don't want to take sides on any drama or situations. I still will always have a way to have open slots for Sinder, but I won't be having her as my only customer. Redacted says, I agree. You're a free artist and you should do what you want, but I was under the impression that taking on more Sinder work is what you wanted to do. I didn't think it was like we were making you do that. Nano then says, guess we got a misunderstanding on both sides? It's more about this. And she replies with the initial message from Redacted, in which he was like, yeah, not to discredit your work or anything, but whenever you work with other clients, it makes your work less special, right? To which Redacted says, oh, I see. I mean, what I said is still true.
No, it isn't, because they're all unique designs, dude. It's not like, yes, okay, I understand the whole scarcity thing. Like, that makes sense. But it's not like she's a dead artist. It's not like she's freaking Picasso or like oh my god, bro. It's so beyond me, like beyond my realm of way of thinking, that it's just hard to freaking voice. She's not Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci, DiCaprio. He's not an artist, but yeah, I had to. Michelangelo. She's not that guy. She's alive. She's gonna be making art. So, like, what is this like thought process? Do you that scarcity only applies when it's limited, and currently it isn't limited. So you're trying to inflate the scarcity by making it more valuable to work with her because you're locking her down. But it's just not how that works in this context. It's weird.
How we feel, but I wasn't saying you had to only do Sinder work from now on.
Yeah. No, you didn't only have to do Sinder work. We just heavily implied that we would feel that your art is worth less to us. It is worth less to us when you work with other people. Go kick rocks. You guys knew what you meant. I feel like playing, I can't say that. In CS2, go do that. I actually can't say that. Well, Never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
Bro, what the hell is this, man?
That's what
And then
I'm
continues.
saying.
That's with anything, though, not just your work. If you have something special and then everyone wants and gets that thing, it makes it less special.
That's not how that works in the context. Oh my god. It's like Machiavellian, but it's like dumb. It's like it's not how this works. It's like, oh my god. It's like it's like a oil baron telling a freaking oil miner to just like, hey, you're only going to work with me because if you work with other people, that makes the gas cost less. That's not how that works. I know it's not a great example, but it's not how that works in context.
I'm sorry you were under the impression we were trying to make you only do work for us. I will keep things more business.
In fact, it's emotional. It's not even like financial here. Like, it's just, oh, it'd feel less special to us. Evangelion? No, Machiavellian. It's there's narcissists, psychopaths, and Machiavellian.
Talk and less emotional. Lol. Just let me know how this will affect your schedule so I can tell Sinder after. Sorry for the stress, Nano. To which she replies with, but every single model I do is unique and I make them special in their way. It's not like I'm selling Sinder to everyone. Please don't feel this way. Redacted then says, no, I know. You pour your heart and soul into your models and they're all incredible. And Nano ends this conversation with,
she brought logic to the thing. It's with an A, but you're close. Evangelionists? Nope. Evangelists are people who spread a word of something that they believe in. They go,
I'm sorry I made you both feel this way too. So textbook manipulation, textbook gaslighting, textbook backstabbing. I mean, is there anything here that doesn't scream manipulation to you? Reading through these DMs, I feel very sorry for Nano. She clearly loves to make art and is so conflicted here because she values Sinder as a friend and
priests. The priest is an evangelist. I'm an evangelist by definition.
Client, but at the same time, her gut feeling tells her something's wrong. These are very unreasonable demands. Anyway, the document continues. Crazy. It's simply business. Normalizing their behavior once again by stating that it's simply business to sabotage other VTubers' careers and not work with them and focus on Sinder instead. This is again from November 2023, in which Redacted says, it's okay, Nano. You're just making a living and making a name for yourself, and I can't blame you for accepting work from other big names in the industry and having very desirable talent. If you end up filling your model schedule again like it was, let me know. We'll have to replan some things depending on that. Nano replies with, thank you for understanding my side. We're all trying to have our names somewhere. Just don't take this personal or anything. I still love working with you guys, and again apologize for the trouble on your plans. I'll still revisit my list and see what I got. He then says, business is business. If you want to go through the projects we talked about and let me know which ones.
Okay. Crucial fundamental flaw. Yes, what I'm doing is considered a business. I'm my own boss. I'm self-employed. I am technically running a business through streaming. However, there is a business. There's not so much of a business relationship when it comes to streamer to streamer. Because it's way more complex. We're people. We're not corporations. We're not LLCs, limited liability. We're not even organizations. Well, most of us. But, like, come on. Yes, there's a business aspect. But at the end of the day, we're just some freaking weirdos who sat in front of our computers and decided that we couldn't hold down a real job. And we'd rather hold down this one. So, like, we're not a corporation. Most of us. But, like, you guys get the idea, right? Like, it's not as simple to say business is business when you work in the business of entertainment on an interpersonal level. When you're creating, it's just, you know what it is? It is a difference of mindset. There are people who are going to think this way. I'm just going to say this now. There are people who are going to think, well, I want to be the best. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I'm going to use people as stepping stools and with no intention of bringing them along for the ride. And as someone who wants to be at the tippy top, looking at this pisses me off. Like, who the hell do you think you are to just, like, do this? So being the one slur, sort of. Clearly someone didn't watch the Lorax. When you cut all the trees down, what do you get? It's a metaphor. It's metaphorical. When you cut all your trees, you have no resources. When you cut your friends down, you have nothing. Because guess what? The trees needed the Lorax to speak for them. Your friends don't. That was bars, by the way.
You'd want to
I'm
do
kinda
too.
proud of that.
Later on, Redacted replies to another message from Nano in which he says, I don't want to take any sides on any drama or situation, and he says, is this about blank model Nano? Nano says, yeah, I want to take it, but I don't want to disrespect Sinder. I just want to do pretty models, no hurt feelings. Redacted then says, business is business, to which Nano replies with a crying emoji. Redacted replies with, Nano, you're a freelance artist and blank is a
Shut
longtime
up.
client, so it makes
That
sense
was
to continue
fire.
doing work for her. I understand the logistics of it. At the end of the day,
Oh,
you
man.
need to do what's best for you. Nano replies with, I really appreciate for understanding my side. I do understand your side too, but sadly it's something between you two, not me. I shouldn't get involved in this fight. I just go art. Brr. Redacted then says, right, I know. I just didn't think our conversation sounded like I was trying to make you not work with her on a model, like blank specifically. Nano then says,
did.
maybe I just considered the situation too much. My mistake for thinking this way. And he says, it's
No,
okay.
dude. Nano, stand your ground, girly. I don't know if you're a girl. Nano, stand your ground. The way she types, or Nano types, kind of makes me feel like Nano's a girl. No, stand your ground. This guy is dude, he gaslit her. That's exactly what happened. Well, I didn't actually, if you thought that was on you. I don't know what you're talking about. I was just saying that, you should, like, consider an exclusivity deal. Like, what the frick are you talking about, dude?
Then Nano says, but are we good for real? This feels like a weird breakup. I'm stressing. And Redacted says, me and you are good, but I still have to tell all this to Sinder. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I think she's still sleeping. So it's just a constant back and forth. It's very exhausting to talk to people like this because in 2023, they made her think that by taking on other clients, her art meant less. Then when she confronted them about it, they were like, we never meant that. We just want you to work on Sinder's models. Do what you got to do.
They're trying to make her feel like she's crazy for thinking that way. And unfortunately, Nano is falling hook, line, and sinker for that.
But then we saw
Or
very
was.
recent DMs from 2025 as well as 2024 in which they were telling her, do not work on models for these people
They
in
freaking
particular. This just keeps getting
corrupt
worse
her,
and
dude.
worse. Nano continues the document saying damage control, making sure none of this reaches the other VTubers
Right,
and
this
is
is
all
what I'm
kept
curious
hush-hush,
about.
while also providing proof that they know what they do is ill-intended and should not get out, as it would cause issues for Sinder's career to be painted in this light. Note that the uncalled shot at VTuber 1 is even spoilered, a hidden message in Discord, so it wouldn't accidentally be leaked. This was from the same day in November 2023. A lot was revealed that day. Nano says, I try to be transparent as much as possible. I think it's more fair for both sides this way. And Redacted says, you didn't tell blank you canceled because of Sinder, did you? And Nano said, no. I told all of them it was health issues. I would never blame.
Wow, dude. Wow. You made this person lie? What a... Dude, you know what's crazy? This also is smearing Nano's reputation. Eventually, people were going to be like, well, Nano, you're just, not committing. And then, like, instead of rescheduling, you just cancel. What?
Anyone besides blank. Redacted then says, lol, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to work on / not work on something, especially if it's something you want to / don't want to do. And our conversation the other day doesn't mean to convince you of only doing Sinder work. Again, sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to do only Sinder work. I'll message you later. So ever since 2023, Redacted and Sinder have been obsessed with just this one VTuber, always tracking what she's doing and not wanting her to hire a nanolist no matter what. Here you can see Redacted saying, well, let's see if blank wants a nano model or not, and hope blank finds someone else. Nano continues in the document saying the constant obsession with VTuber 1 and claiming that she is asking for it by causing this unspoken competition, which is coming from absolutely no other source than Sinder herself. So Sinder was convinced this VTuber was competing with her directly and wanted to steal her thunder. It's censored in this document, but we'll later find out who this is because she also made her own document. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. Nano's document ends with around 3 or 4 screenshots showing this absolute obsession with this
nuts.
VTuber and the unhinged thought process that Redacted and Sinder had towards them. This is Redacted saying, I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Sinder even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up each other because blank can't get along. But I also understand her point of view. The new VTuber who people say looks, sounds, and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Sinder as an equal or a friend, then I would be like she's endorsing her copy, or like I've seen some people say her replacement. They share a lot of the same
Well,
audience
you know
too.
what, dude? She definitely succeeded her as her replacement. Cinder and co. saw to that.
Like, at the end of the day, it isn't just about
Self-fulfilling
how much we make
prophecies,
compared
chat,
to
they're
her.
real.
We just want her to recognize, hey, Cinder is a big VTuber too. She got there on her own merits, just like you did. Get along. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. Oh my god. You know the spinning figure we have on stream? Blank's figure was announced on Wednesday. No spinning figure. Cinder debuts Saturday. Everyone hears about it. Figure announced. Spinning figure on screen with exclamation mark figure right next to it. Blank streams yesterday. First stream since Cinder debut. Guess what? Spinning figure with exclamation mark figure next to it. Now, this might seem confusing, but we were just talking about VTuber 1. But there was another VTuber that both Cinder and Redacted were obsessed with, a Cerberus pup VTuber. Here we have Redacted talking about her mid-conversation, accusing her of copying Cinder every chance she got, saying, then like a month later unfollowed her on Twitter and started taking her ideas, Cinder's ideas, like the flames, and now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire Cerberus, using fire emojis all the time, shaking my head. Never did that before.
Bro. You... What an incredible level of copium. What an insane, like, reach to say that. What? Oh, you know, Cerberus, the guard dog of, like, what was it? Hell in Greek mythology. Oh, how dare it be based on fire? Are you guys stupid? Of course! Of course, bro. Of course! Like, who are we kidding? That makes sense. Her logic makes sense. Oh my god, you get these people, these types of people get me, bro. These type of people are like, shut
It's
up,
funny because she used to
bro.
call herself a hellhound, but stopped when Cinder grew past her and now uses Cerberus, or Cerber Pup, or whatever her lore says she is, I don't know. Nano says, the unfollow is weird, and then Redacted says, yeah. So it's like, there was also unprovoked tweets from her like, I didn't copy anyone else for my design is all me, this is who I am. Like, huh? Who are you saying that to? Then he continues and says, oh, lol, on random Cinder clips on YouTube, there was one dedicated Blank fan or someone she knew, I don't know, that would comment on these clips saying like, when are you going to clip Blank? Only on Cinder clips. Nano ends this document by saying, I'd like to highlight the irony of expecting to be entitled to recognition for her own efforts and size when her own active efforts are tied to sabotaging this very same VTuber. Also feeling entitled and insisting to be recognized by someone else is odd. Thanks for taking the time to read through everything. I hope everything makes sense and everyone who has been hurt, manipulated, or sabotaged by her will find closure. So look, this whole idea of, oh my god, this VTuber's copying me or whatever, this isn't the first time we see it in the VTuber space.
Oh,
it
no,
happens more often
so
than anyone
often.
would like to. But Cinder, as well as Redacted, were taking it to a whole other level. They weren't just concerned by someone copying them, they were obsessed. And they were dragging their
pissed.
artist who has been loyal to them into this mess as well. It was a very, very bad look. Some people were analyzing some of the DMs between Cinder and Nano, and this part right here, where she says, being one of your very first model babies was so amazing, I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with Live 2D cutting to improve your skills, and I...
That's what I said as well. It's like she feels like it's her right to have Nano because she put her on the map. But shut up.
I think that's a big part why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. Made people think like, wait, what are you saying here? Are you saying your skill is thanks to me because I found some...
It's like, I wouldn't even go that far. To me, it reads as your skill is thanks to me because I found someone that can help with your live 2D cutting. The reason everyone even started looking for you is because they love my model first. Welcome to advertising, Cinder. It's almost like that's what you do when you work with the artist. The same way Cake Loam is the one that made my frickin' thing. What I miss? So much. The gaslighting, the entitlement, the everything. I've realized that Cinder is what is called Machiavellian. Manipulative, self-interested, domineering. It's just like she wants to dominate the whole conversation. Like it's people are calling her a psychopath. No, she's Machiavellian. It's Machiavellianism. It's part of this whole dark triad personality stuff. So narcissism, she's kind of got you kind of get a mix, right? But like, come on. it's listen. We all got
someone that can help
tendencies, but this is just textbook. It's textbook Machiavellian.
your life 2D cutting. And the reason everyone even started to look for you is because they loved my model first. It seemed like Sinder believed Nanolith owed her for the success,
exactly
that she
what I
would be a
meant.
nobody if it wasn't for
If it wasn't Cinder, it would have been someone else who discovered her, by the way. Because it's someone with this kind of talent, like Nano has, right? Because, let's face it, the model is impressive. It looks good. It looks clean. It looks well done. As an artist, if you collaborate with a streamer, any form of big company or whatever, you're never ever obligated, unless it's in your contract, but you're never ever obligated to work with them based off of the merit that they're the one who put you on the map. It was gonna happen, and it just so happened to be them.
Sinder. What a very weird
Shut
attitude to
up.
have. Additionally, here's a screenshot of all the models that Nanolith worked on.
Bro,
Oh my
wait a minute. I was gonna point that out. How bad is this one if this isn't censored and this is?
God, I have to censor that. Dude, her boobs are literally out of the outfit. What? Anyway, as you can see, they don't look the same at all. They're all very
Okay, so you can kind of see the coloring, but like, that's it? I knew it, dude. This is who she's saying she's being compared to. I'm certain it's gotta be. Is that... Who are these people?
special and all have their unique traits. This
Aren't these the same person? Oh, these are... Yeah, they are. I don't
idea
know.
that the more models she worked on would devalue her work as an
What a
artist
wild
was a
and crazy-
ridiculous claim to make, and everyone can see that now. But speaking of everyone, what about her close friends that she backstabbed so shamelessly? What was their
Oh my
reaction?
God.
Well, Cottontail was one of the people mentioned in that document that both Cinder and her manager were trying to keep away from Nano, even though they were friends, in which Redacted says, "You don't work with Bao, Cotton, or Blank at all again." She tweeted this, saying, "This made my stomach drop to read. It makes me very sad to have things come out like this, sending Nano and Bao so much love." I mean, I can't even imagine thinking that someone is my friend and they're out there in DMs getting their manager to gatekeep an artist from me because they think I'm a threat to them. But of course, Cottontail was far from being the only one affected here. 5 minutes after Nano released her document, Bao quote tweeted and said, "I was very hurt by someone I thought was a friend," with her own Google document. Now look, many friends of Cinder were
I
involved
don't even know how I'd react to this, by the way. Like, I don't know how I'd react. Like, if I'm, like, friends with someone for, like, apparently years, and they're like, "Yeah, I was using you to, like, succeed." I don't know what I'd feel. Like, I truly can't put myself in the position because it's so beyond... Right, currently it's beyond me. It's totally beyond me. Hopefully it won't be one day. But it's beyond me. Mentally ill women? No, dude, no. No, this is bro is in the 40 chess. That's what I'm saying. This is
in
crazy.
this, but Bao was more involved than most because
Beyond
this didn't
scum.
just
Yeah,
concern
it's
Nano,
scum.
it also
It's
concerned
scummy.
editors as well as animators. So here's what Bao had to say in her document,
okay.
saying, "Hello, this is Bao. I
Hi.
will only speak to what
Hi, Bao.
Nanolis has decided to share with the public, and the messages that directly mention me by name. I would like to kindly ask everyone to refrain
choices.
from turning this into a witch hunt and remember that we are still humans at the end of the day. Before I
Amen.
start, I want to point out why I'm addressing both Cinder and Redacted despite the
Oh,
messages
right.
being
Yeah, no hate to anybody involved. Like, everyone's gonna get their just desserts. Let's not contribute to this. Like, it's purely informational. Please don't go out if you see someone and, like, you know, no witch hunting, like Bao said. That's the experience of a content creator right there. But yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Rocket, chill out, bro. Chill. I see you're very upset. Just keep it there.
largely from Redacted. Many times throughout the messages, the words we, we're, our occur numerous times.
yeah.
As someone who was close to and worked with Cinder for years, I have firsthand experience in how Cinder and Red collaborate and the extent to which Red operates as her primary point of contact in her professional and personal projects. It is that experience that leads me to believe that all requests and messages sent by Red were both known about and approved of by Cinder. In March 2024, I announced that one of my subathon goals was a live 2D model. This right here is the tweet of her announcement.
Dude,
if she
that's
reaches
such a cool model. Wait, hold on. Like, all things aside,
messages sent by Red were both known about and approved of by Cinder. In March 2024, I announced that one of my subathon goals was a live 2D model. This right here is the
that's cool. Like, like, putting everything aside, that's a cool looking model. That's kind of cool. I like the colors.
tweet of her announcement. If she reaches 10,000 subs, she's going to commission a new sexy mommy Life 2D model. That's what she's referring to. She then continues, Nanolith was going to be the Life 2D illustrator. After she finished both the design and base model sketch, there was suddenly back and forth on whether or not she had the physical and mental capacity to continue my model. I was very sad, as I had not only teased a screenshot of the model sketch on Twitter, but I had grown very attached to the design and showed it to all my friends in a private group chat that Sinder was a part of. I shared how devastated I was, and she did not comment or say anything.
Did you guys hear that? You guys heard that, right? She's like, "Oh guys, I'm so excited for this model that Nano is making. Cinder's sleeper, like freaking Winter Soldier activation code." And she's just like, nah. That's crazy, because even I was like, oh, that's a cool design. All things considered, I don't even like VTubers. I'm not a guy who participates in VTuber culture. I know of them. I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm fine with them, right? I thought it was a cool design. And then you're like, oh yeah, Bao's like, oh guys, I think this is like such a cool design. And Cinder's like, no. What a... Dude. The word I'll use is wretched. What a wretched thing to do. Like, how do you...
Despite others
what a crazy,
comforting and reassuring me. I now realize that the reason for her silence was because Sinder and Redacted were deliberately sabotaging ongoing commissions and blocking VTubers such as myself from having access to art from Nanolith. She then shows us the same screenshots that were in Nano's document, in which we now know that Bao, Cotton, as well as other VTubers were directly targeted by both Redacted and Sinder. Bao then continues in her document and says, Nanolith asks Redacted on why he is encouraging her to not finish my model. Redacted then lists my name amongst various VTubers as well as the vendettas Sinder and Redacted harbor against each. She then lists all these reasons that they were targeting Bao. The first one being, Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. The second, she hijacked our YouTube editor. The third, constantly picking up artists that we work with. The fourth, now she's barking up the tree of one of our live 2D animators. And the fifth, has a way of guilt-tripping others to get her way. This is what Redacted lists as reasons why Nanolith should cancel her ongoing Life 2D commission.
Hold on, I actually just realized I should do something. Hold on. Not that one. We're actually gonna do a little something. This is the at Mugen. There we go. No. No, let's not do that. No, actually, quite the opposite. And then I'm going to take that. I'm going to do this. There we go. There we go. See? I like that way better. My goodness, chat.
Mission with me, all the while continuing to collaborate with me and pretending to be my friend. This is not what friends do. Friends do not sabotage other friends out of business opportunities. Friends do not spread lies to fuel selfish narratives. Friends do not use the private information they get from the privilege of being close friends just to use it to manipulate others. If stepping on your friends and abusing your power and connections is how you get to the top, then I hope you realize no one will be left when you get there. She then links another screenshot we saw in Nano's document of Redacted asking, did you cancel the models? And then says more screenshots of them urging Nanolith to cancel the ongoing Life 2D commission with me, even mentioning how excited I was about it when I showed them the design during Sinder and I's concert at WeebCon in 2024. That is so scummy. Again, this is a screen.
This is someone you did a concert with. Selfless promo? There we go. Instead of a shameless promo, it's a selfless promo. I like that.
Shot that we saw in Nano's document. So then Bao mentions something that happened in this conversation.
Oh, you know who would never do this? Sinder. That's something she'd never do. Anyway, back to this. Slop era. Honestly, dude, the only reason I did this is because I kind of wanted to know about it anyway. And you guys, before your time in my chat, there was a Talking Point Tuesday that I didn't keep up with, But I thought, you know, whenever there's big drama, we'll do this.
between Nano and Redacted, in
kinda
which Redacted
interesting.
was urging her to cancel the model with Bao,
But
and
definitely
Nano
it is
saying,
low
I can
effort
give her the
content.
design for free as an apology gift. Redacted then said, I wouldn't offer it for free, maybe half price if she starts shit, lol, and Bao quotes that sentence
What? That's an immense amount of vitriol, bro.
of Redacted and says, I don't know what I have ever done to either Redacted or Sinder to deserve this level of vitriol towards me. I don't remember having
what
any issue or any problem that couldn't have been solved by talking. So yeah, this is really, really screwed up, obviously. I mean, anyone can
Okay,
tell.
So the design is half the cost, not the rigging or anything. If she starts stuff, that's what I'm saying, dude. This is crazy. Real fellow light green person, dude. This is preposterous. Why? What would prompt you to be this way? Like, listen, I know people want to be successful. I want to be successful on this platform. But I'm not an idiot. I know that this would blow up in my face. I don't even think I'm capable of doing this. This is evil. This is so incredibly evil. And especially if they've been nothing but nice to you and you've had, quote, no interactions that couldn't be solved by talking. No, I don't agree with that. It's not actual, like, it's not an achievement if you push people down. It's just mean, and it's mean-spirited.
Right? It's like Bao murdered one of their family members and got away with it. Like, what did she do, man?
Killed your
Anyone who's
dog
ever
or
worked with her has said nothing but good things about her. Out of all her friends, she decided to target the person who is probably the nicest out of all of them. Anyway, Bao continues, saying, regarding the
I've
messages
never,
where Sinder and Redacted
like,
openly
been-
accuse me of stealing their YouTube editor, Boss Rush music video animator, as well as any artist they have worked with, she attaches an image that shows an email between her and Kaiser, their
also,
YouTube
by
editor.
the way, Bao is handling this exceptionally well. She's not being emotional about it. She's just being like, I don't even know what I could have done. Or, this isn't even, like, remotely real, bro. Like, there's no way. Here's some proof.
In which she says, Hi Kaiser, nice to meet you. I was just watching your stream highlight from me and Cinder's collab and I really loved your editing style and humor. I was curious if I could request a video edit from you every now and then if you have any availability. My username is Bao on Discord if you want to chit chat more there. Thanks again.
Oh,
And
Bao,
Kaiser
no.
says,
Bao, no, you shouldn't have put that. Probably people would have.
Hi Bao, I'd love to edit a video for you. I just sent a friend request on Discord. Bao continues in the document saying she hijacked our YouTube editor. Their YouTube editor, Kaiser, is a mutual YouTube channel editor for myself and Sinder. My channel manager, June, and I asked Kaiser for one stream highlight per month as we are aware of his extensive position as Cinder's channel manager. I made a point to note this in my inquiry email to him in 2020.
So this is how you do. I'm also taking notes because I don't know how any of this works.
3. She then shows a screenshot of a call that lasted 5 hours and says, on March 20th, I started a group Discord call that lasted 5 hours to hang out with my editors. In this group call, Kaiser shared with us that he was afraid to ask Sinder for a raise because he initially turned down an exclusivity deal. As a friend to both Sinder and Kaiser, I encouraged him to take the deal and reassured him that it would not change our friendship as I would never want someone I care about to miss an opportunity, even if it meant I would lose him as an editor. The other editors who were in the call can corroborate this. I'm sharing this context because there are no words to describe the hurt and betrayal I feel now, knowing that on the other side of this conversation, Sinder and Redacted were actively portraying me as a thief and a detriment to their business. I've only ever supported them in their activities and never once thought that I had somehow gotten on their nerves. She then quotes what Redacted said in the DMs with Nano, a sentence that said, Bao had original songs last year that had music videos by her editor and the songs flopped. Bao then says, I'm in shock and disbelief that this is the narrative they decided I deserved, saying that I harbored an invisible jealousy because my songs flopped made me feel sick to my stomach. In late 2024, I was dealing with debilitating TMJ pain that resulted in me having to drain fluid from my jaw joint to open my mouth properly. They both knew this. I have always wanted my friends to succeed alongside me, and I don't know how they could say these things while simultaneously weaponizing my most vulnerable moments against me. I mean, at this point, no comment, right? Like, no comment.
There's, like, not much to say. The lady was hurt. She was medically incapable of singing better. I don't know if she dropped a song for the record. But, to just, like, that's disgusting behavior. Jesus. And not two of you had the freaking humanity between the both of yous to freaking say, hey, maybe we're terrible people and we shouldn't be doing that. Did that not cross your minds at all? Like, the main character syndrome, I wouldn't even call it narcissism because there's just not enough there. The self-interest, it's not self-centered. It's like both. I think one is Machiavellian and the other is a narcissist. If I had to guess, Machiavellian. Degenerates like them belong on a cross. They don't deserve to die in the way my savior did.
This is disgusting. For years,
even
they
wish
were
death
trying to
upon them.
backstab her as hard as they could. She had no idea. She thought they were friends. So this was her clearing up the whole idea that she stole their editor. She did nothing of
Now,
the sort.
I'm going to say now, I don't feel terribly emotional about it. I think it's a disgusting thing to do, right? But I'm not going to be like, up in arms about it. TF2 spy game. Shut the f up. Shut up. That's degenerates like them belong in the back rooms. Exactly.
But then there was the topic of her animator. So
Shut
here
up,
she
Rocket.
quotes the sentence that Redacted had told Nanolus, which is, we're 99% sure she told him, Sacramore, her animator, not to do any more with us, referring to the Boss Rush music videos.
Got
And
it.
these screenshots were in Nano's initial document. Bao says, in these messages, Sinder and Redacted are referring to my animator, Sacramore, whom I have been working with since 2023. She proves this by showing DMs between them in 2023, Bao saying, hi, I'm going to bed, but give me your rates and turnaround time for a video like the Bao Experience one. Me and my editors loved it, and Sac said, yo, all good. Then she continues, in 2024, Sac asked me if he could go completely exclusive for me and work for me in-house with no credit in order for him to be able to quietly work on his personal projects and brand without having VTubers ask him for more
that's
commission work.
kind.
I was happy to accept. I want to reiterate that this was Sac's decision and no one else's. Then she says, here is proof of Sac mentioning his wishes to be my in-house animator directly to my channel manager June back in December 2024, refuting Redacted's claims that I locked him up due to Boss Rush's success. These DMs between Sac and June, her channel editor, have Sac asking, yo, is it fine if going forward I don't be credited in video descriptions? To which June says, okay. Sac then says, thank you. I'd rather just be more an in-house type of thing for Bao after this blank thing is done. It's the last commission I ever do for anyone besides Bao, and want to make a name for myself through my own content and not really my work for others next year. So again, Bao showed
a
up with the
good
proof
guy.
and she's showing us how delusional Redacted and Cinder were. Bao then ends this by asking, why aren't you solving this privately? And then replies, if you look at the timeline of events from Nano's document, some of those messages date back years. I found out about this less than 48 hours ago, and they did not give me common courtesy of talking to me privately about this over those years.
Fair.
My thoughts, feelings, my most vulnerable, darkest moments that I shared
Turn the other cheek. If they hit you at the back of their hand, make them hit you at the front. Now they have to treat you as an equal.
in confidence with people I thought would be by my side years and years from now may have been used as
And if they-
information to ruin my chances to have the same VTuber model as someone I thought was my friend, and I don't know how I can ever be the same after this. I would like to ask the
That's
community to
exactly
refrain
what I
from
said. That's exactly what I said. Now there's always going to be this air of, oh, is this person taking advantage? Are they doing what Cinder did all those years ago? Like, this changes things. This changes a lot, actually. Where now it's like there's going to be a healthy dose of skepticism. And I understand. I think it makes sense. I don't like it. As a small streamer, do you know how awesome it'd be if I'm just able to walk up to a big streamer and be like, yo, I think I'm kind of cool. I remember this happening live. 2 docs released. Went to bed. Oh, man. Really? Wake up. The internet's just gone completely nuclear, dude. It went nuclear. Every single post. Admittedly, I wanted to make a video about it the second I found out, but I felt it was still too hot. And I think, yes, it would have been better for views. It would have been much better for viewers if I did this the second it dropped. But it felt like I wanted to give it some time, so I made sure everything was out. And it feels bad. It feels bad if I don't know the whole story. And I think it was fair to all parties, because I don't know them. I don't have an attachment to like let it come out. And I'm glad I did, albeit I could have gotten more viewers, but that's not what this is about right now. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll be like, you know what? we need some growth around here, and I'll do stuff like that.
spreading any harmful speculation. Everything
won't be
shared
much
in this
different.
document
I'm
was
gonna look
done
at it
so
the
with the
same way I do
express
it now.
permission of those who shared it with me. I made this document with the intent to refute the claims made
And if something comes out later, I'll be like, okay, now we have more context. We're going to take another look at it.
about me in the screenshots.
Oh,
Thank you
I
for
missed
taking
out
the
on
time
a
to read
series.
this. Yeah,
No!
what a roller coaster, right? And I just feel very bad for everyone involved in this, of course, except Cinder and Redacted, because this is a
Okay.
horror story. Imagine opening up to someone, thinking they're your friend, always thinking about what's best for them and not coming in their way. And then it turns out that not just recently, for years, ever since you knew them, they've only had negative things to say about you privately. That is wild, and that of course will traumatize a person. It's crazy. The VTuber Sane compiled all the different collabs and things that both Bao and Cinder worked on to really show how much of a terrible person she was talking like this behind her back. The song used in the video is a song from Cinder, I'm pretty sure, so I'm gonna mute that just in case she wants to copyright me. Here you go, look at this.
Thank you, dude.
They collabed so many different times and met up IRL so many times too.
So,
Like, look at this tweet from Bao.
wait,
Love
wait,
you,
wait,
Cinder.
wait.
Here you go, look at this.
Hold on.
They collabed so many different times and met up IRL so many times.
Oh, I see. There was a prophecy in motion a year ago. Oh, how the times have changed, Cinder. Cinder ruins her friendships. You know, she's nothing if not a prophet. I'm sorry. It's just... I can't be the only one who finds that a little bit ironic.
Too.
That's a little bit.
Like, look at this tweet from Bao. Love you, Cinder. The fact that this is your first shot at anything musically is incredible, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. That's my girl. Like, this is insane. The people who were mentioned in Bao's document made sure to confirm publicly that what she was saying was true.
Okay, we got some from June. I can't remember if he was manager or editor. This is a reference on the document that Bao provided. Please do read. We got Python Hookblade saying, this hurts so much. I've supported Bao and Cinder both so much. I have so much merch of both of them. I just ordered the Gamer Subs pajama stuff Cinder did and re-upped on Bao and Pyro Power. I feel so disgusted. Invictus says, damn, this is all so sad. Suni says, don't ask, don't care, deal with your drama in private. Okay, well, you seem like a ray of sunshine. Bro, this hurts. Bao is joyful, so on and so forth. Let's continue.
Her channel manager June quote tweeted
it
the
is
document Bao posted and said, hello, I'm Bao's channel manager, and yes, I was there in the call with Kaiser, Bao, and Sak, and Bao encouraged Kaiser to take the raise. It was definitely something she thought would be best for him. Bao supported any opportunity or anything that Kaiser would choose to go. Sak, who is her animator, also quote tweeted the document Bao posted and said, feel free to read if you want, go show love and support to both Nano and Bao though, and linked a Google document that recounted his experiences in this entire situation. So Sak starts this document off with, this is going to be very unorganized, but I'll try and keep this brief since I don't really think that they, Red specifically, deserve any more of my attention after hearing what they have said about me and also how working with them was. So he specifies again that he wanted to go anonymous and in-house, not because Bao forced him to, but because he wanted to. Wanted to focus on his own channel while not worrying about having to be commissioned by
Someone thought I didn't know the... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
other people. Then he addresses
say
what
your
Redacted
agent
told
thinks that he
Nanolist
was
about
there
him,
when they were
where he
with
says her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. Sak says, when me and Cinder initially discussed working on a music video project at TwitchCon, everything was fine and friendly. However, the part that is stated as practically jumped through hoops is, well, a bit of an overstatement to say the least, since they had asked me a significant amount of times trying to get me to work with them after I told them no multiple times, and I only said yes because they offered double pay. So in this DM, you can see in September, Redacted reaching out to Sak asking, you wouldn't happen to be available for a music video in a week or two, would you? And Sak saying, no, I'm completely full every day this month and earliest I could do is November 9th. Sak really tried to make it work, but couldn't find any slots in his schedule. Redacted would continue asking questions. How long does it take you to make a music video? What do you need? And even with Sak saying multiple times, I really can't, I'd love to, but I just can't. He says things like, okay, thanks though, Sak. You're missing out on a good one. Like, bro, he stated he wants to, but just can't. Redacted then keeps messaging Sack, talking to him about project specifics, asking him how long things would take him, and seeing when he's free. And then on the 12th of November 2024, Redacted messages Sack saying, "Are you available? Sorry for getting back to you so late." Sack says, "All good. I'm still 100% down to do it. I would be able to start like the first or second week of December for like mid-December release. Is that okay?" And Redacted says, "We were
Yikes, man.
hoping end of November release," to which Sack says, "Oh yeah, that would be impossible for me." Sack then specifies, "Like I said, I'm still super down to do it and really hope to be able to work with Sinder on the video, but my schedule is always super packed / fully planned weeks and months ahead
Got
without much wiggle room, so just let me know what y'all would like to do or feeling."
Yeah,
And then
that makes sense. I mean, I'm not familiar with what he does, what Sack does, but it sounds like something you got to plan, like a lot of.
Redacted says, "What if we pay you double?" Sack then says, "Blank and I'll cook," to which Redacted says, "You can send the invoice to blank whenever, we'll get it paid ASAP." Sack then continues in the document saying, "Also, I'm not sure what they're on about with Bao not knowing about me working with them, since I asked Bao with Sinder and Red standing right next to me at TwitchCon if it was fine, since I had agreed to do all the Halloween album but would probably miss one of the
Crazy,
songs,
dude.
and she had no problems with it at all." So even
It's like wild. Like, why would they lie specifically? Well, yeah, to smear, I get that. Don't get me wrong. It's like provably false. It is provably false. There's so many people who know. It doesn't come across as, forgive me for saying, but smart. It comes across dumb.
Even though this would sacrifice the music video for one of Bao's songs in her album, she still said, "Yes, please go ahead." I mean, Sinder is her friend, as far as she knew, right? Then Sack goes on to detail his work experience with Sinder and Redacted.
If I was given a Gamer Subs affiliate code, would I? It depends. Does Cinder still have a stake in the company? It truthfully matters. That defines my answer, because the truth is I don't want to give this person money. Why would I be sitting here hearing how they're a terrible person, and then the moment I'm offered money just cave? Then do I really care? I'm probably one of the few people you can't buy. You cannot buy me, because I don't. It's not like forever, bro. I believe in a forever. What do you mean, Riz? Anyway.
Saying, "Also, the stream was pushed back for the reason of the video wasn't done yet. Song was going up at 2 p.m. if I remember. However, this part really got under my skin due to the fact that it was just straight up not true, and if something goes wrong in the video production line, no matter who's at fault, the blame will always fall to the editor / animator pretty much every time. I'm still not sure why stream was pushed back. So it felt as if I was getting passive aggressively blamed publicly on stream in front of thousands for the lateness really upset me, since the video was not late even under a very tight deadline where I did not even receive all the artwork until the 18th, the first full master until the 19th, and was then asked to also make a teaser version as well as an ad for the end of the video for their
God,
merch
bro.
on the 21st, which I was not informed of at all prior to planning. I also had skipped going home for Thanksgiving after having a family member pass to get this video done, and rushed the hell out of it. Entire video was done
Oh
from
my
scratch in a little under
God.
2 weeks, since there were
Dude,
quite a
it's like this, like everything is aligned in a way that makes this as bad as possible for them. A family member passes away. This guy is like, I just can't. I gotta work. I gotta finish this. Oh my God.
few both visual and audio assets I did not have at the time that even remotely resembled what the final product will sound like. So I felt like this was an attack on my work ethic, which is something I take quite a lot of pride in. I did not receive the merch assets until the 27th as well either. Even with revisions and all the extra trailers, the video was completed and delivered on time with enough time for YouTube to process the 4K version. There's probably more that I should clarify, since I'm aware this is unbelievably poorly organized, but I'm very tired and don't feel like giving any more energy to
incredible,
these
dude.
people. If there's anybody who has questions for me, just send me a DM. So this clears up more things that were happening behind the scenes between Sack and
does
Cinder
the
as well as
miner know better?
Redacted, shows us that Bao was nothing more than an
Terrible people are terrible people. Whether it be from their circumstances that they grew up in, whether it be they just are. Plain and simple. Okay, well, you know, at least you're not killing someone's financial future. So, the truth is that there are people who have a predisposition to be bad. And they make that choice. They just do. But yeah, no, a minor, a 13-year-old knows better than to do all of that. It's just like, it takes a special kind of person to do what they did. It's preposterous.
So even though Sinder and Redacted fought so hard to get Sack over, paying him double his rate, they were terrible clients who weren't prepared, didn't know what they wanted, and still managed to make Sack look bad in front of their audience, even though he missed Thanksgiving just to get the video done on time. It's overall
Literally
a
no
terrible
morals, dude.
situation.
It's like,
With-
okay. In fact, I'll even be generous and say, to Cinder and Red's credit, they had no idea about the death. At least I hope not, because if they did, no credit. It doesn't remove the fact that they didn't know what they wanted. They didn't. How? Wait a minute. That's not racism. It's not based off the color of their skin. He is. It's just their nationality. But no. All for self gain. Yeah, no. They absolutely no morals. I'll give it to them. They likely didn't know about the family member thing. But being late when you give this guy a tight deadline. Freaking crazy, dude. Like, how are you gonna be late and then be like all up in his business about timelines?
With all these documents releasing, pressure was mounting very hard on Cinder, with people demanding answers. So many looked up to her and loved her content purely because of how warm and gentle and kind of a person she portrayed herself on streams. But now people were realizing this was nothing more than an illusion.
Wow.
Hours later, Cinder finally tweeted something, saying effective immediately. Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my
Her boyfriend? She broke up with her boyfriend over this? Doubt.
VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I will make a larger response when I'm able.
You should have a larger response ready that day, lady. I'm gonna be honest, you don't get to take your time.
So I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised when I tell you that this response left a lot to be desired. But then another VTuber pointed out something very interesting. Vampeaches replied to that tweet and said, I remember playing Phasmophobia with you and hearing Red chat away next to you before you first debuted like 4 years ago. You told me he was your boyfriend. Then before we met for TwitchCon, you switched up and said, just so you know, my manager is coming with me on this trip, as if I didn't know who he was. It's even ickier to read this tweet knowing he is your significant other and that you're probably going to try and avoid taking responsibility for hurting people who trusted you as friends by nuking the Red side of this duo. So as everyone could have guessed, Redacted is her significant other. He's her boyfriend and he lives with her. She was fully aware of what he was doing and approved of it, and yet right now she was throwing him under the bus to try and save her career when everyone knows this is nothing more than a desperate attempt.
So she said that, and then it's like, hey Cinder, we know the call's coming from inside the house.
To save your skin without facing any responsibility. It was a very lackluster response to an apocalyptic expose on who she is behind the scenes. And speaking of who she was behind the scenes, someone else came out with a document by the name of Rain on a topic that no one could have ever expected,
She cheated
saying,
on her boyfriend.
fuck it. My experience with Tashi/Cinder, content warning, cheating? Dude, this just keeps getting worse. Let's look at this document. So this goes back way before Cinder was even a thing. This is about Tashi, her previous persona. Things were getting so spicy, my tongue isn't working anymore. The document starts off with, hello, thank you for taking the time to read this document. The events described in it happened about 4 to 5 years ago before the first Cinder debut. I understand there will be accusations of me clout chasing by revealing them. However, I wanted to corroborate Nanoliss's assertion that she is not who she appears to be on the surface, and confirm that no matter how much damage control she does, she is just as responsible as Redacted. The first section is titled The Beginning. Cinder and I met while she was still running her Tashi.mp3 YouTube channel, which is why all the following screenshots will show her as Tashi rather than Cinder, and that will come up later. At the time, she was only starting her account, and I already had my own ASMR RP channel with 8k subscribers, and as a bigger channel than her, she couldn't wait to work with someone as talented as me. This message dates back to May 2020, with Tashi saying, you'll get there. It's still hard for me to believe that someone so talented likes my voice enough to want to work together. Rain continues and says, we never ended up actually making any content together, but that didn't stop us from talking pretty much every day at the time, and eventually she found a new way to make me useful. The next section's titled, Oh Dear. Pretty much immediately she was flirting with me despite, as you can see here, having a boyfriend and both of us knowing she had a boyfriend, including regularly talking shit about him to me while telling me how great it would be if I were to replace him. What the hell? He continues, I understand that I'm no angel in this myself, but hey, at least I can be honest about it. Oh my god. Anyway, here are the DMs. It starts off with Rain saying, besides, you said it's hard when your boy...
Okay. Wow, this chick is terrible. This whole dude, this is what I mean. She was never it seems like she was never a good person. By the way, I would like to say, even if you have a troubled past, you don't get to be a bad person. I'm so sick of. Well, but he had. Shut up. Cheating is awful enough with that. This lady's the whole ticket. The whole thing. Pretty much immediate. Okay, hold on. Besides, you said it's hard when your boyfriend is far away. I'm not your boyfriend. Oh, wow. You are. Dude, using a tilde? Using a tilde key? Oh, my God.
Boyfriend is far, far away. I'm not your boyfriend, am I? To which Tashi says, no, but how nice that would be. Your perfect boyfriend material, heart. Okay. Rain then continues, oh ho, so you want to go at it behind his back? How sneaky. And then she says, hi honey, I've been talking to this guy about how badly I want him to fuck me. Since he wanted to buy a flight instead of giving me any attention when I'm needy. What?
Whoa!
Rain then says, fucking oof, dude. Literally, why would you even need a
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna. We can recognize that.
Wow, yeah, must be. Because I'm very up and hurt. Be it from me to give you advice.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna just speed read this.
It's your relationship, and the only ones who can decide what is and isn't okay is you two. But that just sounds really
He asked me if I was okay with it. Yeah, dude. No. She's lying, bro.
sketchy to me. And why?
I have met somebody who, upon further inspection, reminds me of Tashi. It was a girl in Minnesota, and I went up. I was like, not nowhere near that confident. I asked her for her number. I asked her for her Instagram or her number. She gave me her Instagram. I asked her for her Instagram. I didn't ask for her number, but I asked her for her Instagram, right? And I'm texting her a bit, and we're like chatting, and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, I have a boyfriend." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she says, "But I'm still down to be friends." And that's when I was like, "No, we're not gonna do that." I was like, "I don't know if your boyfriend would be okay with that." And she's like, "No, he said it. He would be fine. He's fine with it." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm not." And I just stopped. I stopped talking to her. I stopped because I'm not gonna do that. My brother knows about it. My dad knows about it. I was like, "Bro, no, dude." No. Because you know what crossed my mind? Okay, cool. Like, let's say, okay, Matt, we do that. What's gonna stop her from doing it to me next time? Not okay.
Why did he ask if you're okay with it after he bought it? Well, all I'm going to say on this is, two wrongs don't make a right. As much as I enjoy the sex thing, it's really not right if you still want to be with him. I would either try to reconcile with him and get what you need out of the relationship and step back from me a bit, or maybe consider taking a break. And I know that last part sounds fucked coming from me, but I swear on my life, I'm not being scummy about it. That's really my opinion. She then replies, I've just been really stressed about everything, and talking to you makes me feel so much better. I don't want to lose what we have, but I'm such an awful person, I don't deserve it anyway. Rain then says,
allow me to autocorrect for Rain. I believe you're an awful person. I believe you're stressed. You're emotional and you're looking for something to make it better. Oh wow, you okay, this chick sucks.
Says, I don't believe you're an awful person. I believe that you're stressed, you're emotional, and you're looking for something to make it better, which happened to be me when he wasn't helping. Listen, take a break from what we have, dude, just for a little bit, and
Red, bro, yeah, exactly, bro. Like, clearly,
see if you can get something out of him first.
That's the truth. If your boyfriend or girlfriend, right, gets stolen, go, leave. Cool, awesome. You know what? To the person that took her or took him, thank you. Because now I know that she had loyalty issues. In my case, she. crazy.
You can't really have both
Nothing
of us.
lost.
Plus, it wouldn't be very fulfilling for me to just be the other guy in this scenario and not get the full relationship experience myself. You can do it, sweetie. I believe you can, truly. She then says, I'm so
By the way, he just asked her to break up. He gave her an ultimatum. He said, I don't know if you guys caught it, but he said, hey, yeah, you know, I don't want to be the other guy here, but I want to be the guy. So either reconcile it or break up and be with me.
sorry. I don't know what I'd do without you. To which he says, I'm not saying to stop talking to me completely. I'll still be right here to support you, whichever
Freaking
decision you end up
nuts,
making.
dude.
And then she says, I love you so much. I don't know how to thank you.
She's
Bro,
saying
this
I love you in another man's DMs. Bro! This is nuts.
is so weird. This is so weird, man. Look, I'm convinced this is some weird like roleplay fantasy she has. She knew that Rain felt really weird about this, knowing that she had a boyfriend, so she was making up this story to make him feel less guilty about cheating. That's just my theory, right? But I just find her story so unbelievable that it just can't be true. Rain then continues in the document saying, despite what was evidently nothing serious for her and just a means of keeping herself occupied, she felt the need to keep stringing me along with proclamations of real love, which again, I was silly to have believed in the first place, but still. And it's a screenshot of her saying, regardless, I'm always going to love you. He then continues in the document, for obvious reasons, I won't share any of the explicit sexting, not just because of the NSFW nature of it, but also I just don't think it helps. However, note that all this went on for several months and included more than just text, as both the date and the contents of the following screenshots prove. This was in September of 2020, so months since the last DMs we saw, and it features Rain saying, I mean, it looked like something was going down there either way. And then Tashi replies with, it's called fingering, dear. Oh my god. The document then continues, one reason I felt it important to share these details in particular is because I never found out if Red got told about what happened, especially not in full lucidity. The primary reason I've held on to all this for so long was an itching feeling that Redacted never fully knew, and it always felt like it would be unnecessary drama, so I left it alone. But now seems as good a time as any. Redacted, if you're reading this, I'm sorry for all that happened back then, I really am, but given the actions you two have taken together regarding other VTubers, I still think you're perfect for each other regardless. The last section of this document is the end.
That's
After
actually-
Sinder got done using me for fleeting sexual gratification, our conversation slowed down, exacerbated by the Sinder character coming into fruition and finding immediate success. I had stopped making content for a decent length of time by then, and thus, she no longer felt she could ladder climb from me. Here we can see this was a conversation mid-2021, with Tashi saying, hey, what was your exam for? I haven't been on this Discord account super often, so I missed a bit, and Rain said she made a new group chat without me. I kid, but yeah, they were the entrance exams for the uni college. Tashi said, nice, congrats on passing them. I've just been on the VTuber side of things working with commissions and whatnot. And then Rain said, what? And Sinder doesn't want to be my friend? Only Tashi does? To which she replied with, it's just easier not having multiple ongoing conversations. Rain continues in the document saying, until
Actually,
eventually she
freaking
stopped using that
preposterous.
account altogether and committed fully to Sinder, and I never heard from her again, something I was uncannily aware would happen even back then. These are DMs from around the same time in 2021, with Rain saying, I'll message you at this time in 2022 and you won't even remember who I
Jesus
am, to which Tashi
Christ.
said, I'd never forget you. Rain then continues the document and says, and that's pretty much it. This isn't meant to be a witch hunt. We all make mistakes, including me, as I've shown in this same document, but it felt like a good time to get off my chest things that have been on it for half a decade now and to finally get some closure, even though I know how bad I look alongside her. She's an opportunist whenever she can find a way to be, and she does not care what happens to the people she springboards off from. I can only hope she takes this as an opportunity to change and grow as a person, and I'm just going to throw this one in the end because it's kind of funny for me to see in retrospect. Okay, thanks for reading. And it's a message from Tashi in 2020 saying, don't forget about me when you become a big popular YouTuber.
Okay, so how do you? I don't even have words. I don't even have anything to say, chat. This is crazy. This takes like a special kind of person to do what's happening here. I just have no idea.
YouTuber. You know what? I didn't read this document until I started recording, and yeah, this caught me by surprise. Wow. You know, I wish
You and
Rain
me
had
both.
shown this a long time ago so people would have known, okay, this person's kind of weird. And maybe Bao and Nana wouldn't have been backstabbed so goddamn hard. But it does
You
leave
know-
a bad taste in my mouth in regards to Rain as well. Releasing this information now does seem opportunistic. because it seems like it's cool to hate on Sinder. In other words, he was backstabbing her the same exact way she was backstabbing others right now. But speaking of backstabbing, we were slowly but surely uncovering the other people that Sinder had backstabbed because documents kept coming out. Spite, another big independent VTuber, posted this on Twitter, quote tweeting Nanolist saying my experience with Sinder and attaching a Google document of her own. This is when we uncover one of the two last missing pieces of the puzzle. There are two more VTubers that were backstabbed by Sinder that were censored in Nano's original document, so which one is Spite? Well, let's read the document. It starts off by saying, I want to start by saying please do not send any hate to anyone involved in this. I only wish to speak about my experiences and give more clarity on those experiences. First and foremost, my love and admiration goes out to Nanolist for having the courage to bring this to light. Artists are the backbone of our community, and taking advantage of her goodwill personality is saddening to see. I want to take the time to address what has been brought to light involving myself and what I've experienced over the years that coincide with these events. In this screenshot, the VTuber that is being talked about is very clearly me. Since the beginning of my VTuber journey, it has been written in my backstory and lore that I'm the daughter of Cerberus, and through an unforeseen summoning mishap, the Greek goddess Hecate. As many may know, Cerberus is a species of hellhound, and I've always incorporated the number 3 in my designs to follow the 3 heads of Cerberus in my early design, and when artists were still learning new model/rigging techniques, I had opted for 2 other wolf heads on my shoulders as pauldrons to symbolically represent my 2 other heads. However, the repeated comments of, if you're a Cerberus, where are your other 2 heads, had pushed me to use the broader term hellhound at the time. Fast forward to months, to a year into my journey, and I started to receive harassment and berating comments and chat messages on Twitch and YouTube videos comparing me to Sinder and putting me down for being a hellhound. Making the definitive switch to the Cerberus label brought me a sense of relief because the last thing I wanted was to be constantly compared or harassed at this point. I didn't want to be associated with her due to all the negativity that was being thrown my way. Then she links one of the screenshots that were included in Nano's document, in which redacted claims that Spite unfollowed
her. That would explain it, because unfollowing her was like, okay, yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, I don't want to be here.
Followed Sinder on Twitter, and this is what she has to say about it. As for the claims of unfollowing her and taking her ideas, I debuted my 2.0 Live 2D model May 14th, 2022, and on that same day, she decided to post her debut announcement for her 1.0 Live 2D model. Leading up to this time, I didn't know who Sinder was at all. I had no idea she had fire in her ears or she was another hellhound. The creator space is broad, and I still stumble across creators larger than myself that I had not heard of before. I never once stole her ideas. All I ever want is to try to be unique in my own way, so these claims that I was following her and then unfollowing and stealing her ideas are absolutely baseless and uncalled for. This is a screenshot that shows that Spite was doing her 2.0 debut on May 3rd, 2022, and 11 days later, Sinder was barely revealing her first model. She had not even done her debut yet. Spite continues in the document, saying her posting her debut announcement trailer the same day as my 2.0 debut seemed off, but I shrugged it off as a coincidence because things happen. However, this wasn't the last time something like this had happened. There have been multiple times where I have done something and either the same day or shortly after I was made aware or had discovered later that something similar had been posted, making me feel like I was being watched constantly. I tried my best to believe that it was coincidental and not ill intent on their part.
So they're gonna claim, okay, are they leading up to say that they think Sinder was copying them? Because that would be crazy.
There were many times where I designed a new outfit that I was really excited for, but afterwards, Sinder would release outfits or models with similarities to it. I didn't think much of it at first because it is normal to have some similarities or shared inspirations with other creators. The VTuber community is a huge space and similarities are normal. I'm not speaking to whether my designs were taken as direct references for hers. I'm addressing the need for the unprovoked tweets mentioned in the screenshots above and showing that I made the statements to make it clear that I was not stealing ideas. How can I copy something that was released/teased/revealed after my own? On July 20th, 2022, Maui Live, my model Mama, and I worked on a comfy goth girl outfit. I had rips in my shirt, a G-string, shorts, and spiked wrist cuffs. 2 weeks after, Sinder...
This is my disconnect. I don't understand why VTubers dress their characters like this. Not
debuted a similar outfit. I included the earliest image that I could find of Sinder with this outfit. I received many negative comments about my design from people assuming that I copied her when I debuted it 2 weeks before hers. I got called off-brand Sinder and just a bunch of horrible things. So these are DMs with her artist saying, sounds great, I'm so happy with it, on July 20th, 2022, showing that she was working on this outfit way before the tweet that Sinder made on September 14th, 2022, asking, what do you think of my new outfit that looks very similar? Spite then continues in her document saying, I discovered this merchandise that she used for Uwu Market and had to do a double take because of the gray-blue skin tone used in the art. Several people thought it was me, and the similarities for this speak for themselves, I feel. So this is the design itself, and yeah, I mean, they do look pretty damn similar.
Okay, yeah. It's the same big model coming out with a new outfit that they showcase. Yeah. It's weird because like I don't know these people. First off, so I'm able to say things and make sweeping generalizations that I would hesitate to make otherwise. But I'm also like looking at this and knowing how now, I guess, knowing how Cinder operates, it feels intentional to make people not like that other VTuber. Like that just would make sense. I just don't know. Because every other thing doesn't feel subtle. It doesn't feel subtle at all, and she's always taken a direct approach. I don't know.
Similar, not gonna lie. She continues, on April 29th, 2024, I designed a Greek goddess outfit on stream. I am a Cerberus VTuber, so it fits my lore completely. I mentioned that I may or may not get a future Greek goddess outfit because it fits my branding. About 4 months ago, Sinder debuted a Heaven Okami-inspired outfit. It was white and gold, resembling a Greek goddess. In the background for debut, she also included Greek columns. At this point, I felt like nothing I could come up with would be even slightly original to me. I'm aware that nothing is completely original.
Glory sort of thing. The issue is, like, in this case, the glory isn't there. Cinder is bigger than she is. So there's no glory to be stolen. All it causes is Cinder's parasocial obsessive fans to go over to this chick, Cinder, or Cerberus or whatever, and get mad. And I'm going to be honest, there's a good rule of thumb. Once is a chance, twice is a coincidence, third time's a pattern. This has been like, what, 4 times that this has happened? 4 or 5 times? It's intentional.
But I still wanted my own identity. So here's the outfit that she drew on her stream, and then here is the debut stream with the new...
Bro. It's the same. It's like borderline the same, dude.
New outfit that Sinder came up with. She
then
continues, on April 20th, 2024, I debuted a new model for my model mama, Ari VT. I got a hoodie with a cute design on top and I had side bangs covering my eyes. On April 4th, 2025, so a year later, Sinder debuted a sports hoodie with side bangs covering her eyes similar to mine.
I don't know.
Is this a coincidence, or is it truly her trying to copy everything she's doing? I don't know, I'll let you decide. She then continues, there are some instances that I do not have screenshots of. For example, I remember posting about my first ASMR stream. The day that I was supposed to do said stream, Cinder plugged her ASMR channel. I thought it was a bit suspect, but brushed it off. I don't have any screenshots of the comments and bullying that I received from her community. There were too many that it became too much to keep track of and just started ignoring them because I never wanted to save images of their words that hurt me. I didn't even want to read the harassing comments in the first place. I just wanted to be left alone and be happy in my own space. I received a DM on January 25th, 2023. I will not disclose who the sender was without their consent. The sender expressed to me that they were getting bullied by Cinder and certain members of Cinder's community because she too had fire in her ears. I never responded to the DM because I wanted to stay away from drama as much as possible. Here's what the DM said. Hey, you popped in my feed and can I just say I love your design? I had a rather odd question, I suppose. Have you had any messages from the VTuber Cinder regarding your design? This may seem out of nowhere, but I'm only asking because I had made an original character like a while back and I was accused by her and others of stealing her design because my dog girl had flames in the ears and her fans claimed that was exclusive to her design. It was this whole big ordeal on Twitter, so I wondered if anything similar had happened to you yet? I would like to clarify, I, myself, am not saying your design looks like hers. I was scrolling, saw your totally awesome design. When I saw the flames near/in the ears, I had flashbacks and thought to myself, oh no. So I guess
from what I can tell, it's people on the internet are dumb and don't read for some of this DMing and such. It is way more like on purpose than it is right now. Like we saw screenshots of Discord messages where there would be freaking conversations and just telling artists, don't work with this content creator. Ooh, don't work with that one. Ooh, oh, you shouldn't work with that person. They lock down their editors and they make them exclusive, while simultaneously telling an artist that if she works with another art or another content creator. No, I'm saying what Cinder is doing is 100% on purpose. But if her fans read dates, some of this would have been avoided. Oh yeah. Most important thing to say is when you're upset, when people get upset, they don't read. Like, I heard this from my two-dimensional queen first, so I'm gonna go over there and say that you're a copycat. without even freaking looking at anything.
I guess this is just my curiosity getting the best of me.
But
Spike
yeah, I agree
continues
with
in her
you.
document saying, I'm just very saddened and disappointed in this situation. I had my suspicions about this, but I've never wanted to be a part of drama, so I kept quiet. I've also seen what happens when a creator stands up for themselves and receives major backlash, even if they're in the right, so I've never vocalized my concerns.
I will absolutely be that creator that vocalizes my concerns amidst the major backlash. Because you know what? It's hell yeah. I'm gonna do that. Bro, okay, hold on. I got some lore for you guys.
I've always designed my own models. I've gotten inspiration from Cerberus with the chains and spikes,
Right.
Disney's Hades, and because I call
Yeah, I
myself
thought so.
Goth Girlfriend, I was inspired by Sam and Ember from
I have call someone out right now. I don't have anyone to call out. Oh, no, I don't. Ember, bro, when I was a kid, Ember, the character, something happened, man. I was like, "Ooh, my goodness." I it was a canon event. It was
Danny Phantom, plus many other of our goth
Yeah,
crushes that
Ember
we've
from
had
Danny
growing
Phantom.
up. I just focused on myself and my friends. Meanwhile, I had
Nah,
eyes on me the
I
whole
admit it.
time. Knowing that I
admit
was
it.
being
Guilty as
watched and
charged.
talked poorly
Guilty as
about
charged,
really
chat.
hurts, especially when they never attempted to interact with me.
Oh my
I did my
God.
best to go through and find what I could and get appropriate screenshots. It's crazy because I didn't know who Sinder was until she debuted her Life 2D. I just wanted to exist peacefully as a VTuber and spend my time drama-free.
You know what? I think my toxic content creator trait is that my content creator red flag is I at least once want to be unwittingly involved in drama. Do you know how freaking awesome that would be? Chat, we finally got involved in something. Oh man, I don't want to be the one who causes it, but I would love to be involved in it. Does that make any sense? Red flag is slop. Everyone wants drama. It's like I don't want free publicity. Maybe that's what it is. Admittedly I've not thought deeply about why. I I also want a hate comment, like a true hater, like an actual hater, right? Because like someone comes into my chat and they're like, you, and then they actually hate my guts. I've said it to my family. I actually want to get hate comments because I'm curious what they're gonna come up with. Like there's so much material. Don't get me wrong. Lexicom, don't remember what she said.
I woke up this morning in shock. It's terrifying and hurtful to know that someone could attempt
Bro, how is it AI slop if I'm just using it to clip? It's still my content. I'm not using it to make content. I'm just using it to just be a artificial intelligent pair of scissors.
to blacklist me when I've never even spoken to them. I hope going forward that no one else has to experience
Get
anything
better at
like
DVD or
this.
something?
Thank you guys for being supportive towards me. I love this community so much. Please go and give love and support to all those who have unfortunately been involved in the situation. Please support Nanolus, who was very brave enough to speak up, and the VTubers who were affected. Please support my first model mama, the wonderful Maui Live, and also my most recent
out.
model mama, the wholesome REVT. Thank you for
Shout out
taking the
those
time
two.
to read this. So as I said in the beginning of this document, this was one of the last two remaining pieces of the puzzle. Who was this Cerberus that they were so obsessed with? A VTuber they never even bothered interacting with, who had this design even before Sinder, and yet they were completely and utterly obsessed with her in
Okay,
such a
so the internet works on a timeline that is, did I know this person first? And that's how it works. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before I get compared to somebody unwittingly. Of course I take inspiration. All right, good night, chat. Good night, dude. Good night, Waffle.
weird and unhealthy way. Honestly, Spite should get a restraining order. Let's be real here. But here's the thing. What about the last missing
Okay, before we continue, that's how the internet works. There is going to be... You have the cat tomorrow? Nice. There's going to be a time where people get mad at you for something that doesn't even make sense because they know the other person first. And in their head, they associate, well, that person in my brain came first, therefore this person has to be copying them. I will admit I take inspiration from other content creators. Would I say that I outright copy them? No. I myself have realized that I do things that are very similar to other content creators. And it's not something I consciously do. I think subconsciously, I'm like, oh, that's what a content creator does, so I'm gonna do that. Right? So, it's just, you know that Ryan Trahan or whatever guy? What about him? I'm nothing like Ryan Trahan. As far as I'm aware. Maybe I am. I've never watched him. Spider-Man video? I don't know what that video is. I'll look it up after stream.
missing piece of the puzzle, the one who was called VTuber1 in Nano's document. Well, this is one of the most screwed up cases of this entire incident, and we're about to find out why. So, you no doubt remember the screenshot in which Redacted was trying to blacklist Bao, Cotton, and a third VTuber from ever being able to commission Nano again. Well, we now know that this third VTuber is none other than Silvervale, yet another very big independent VTuber. Many hours after the initial statement from Nano, she quoted that this third VTuber is none other than Silvervale, yet
I would like to say I knew it, chat. I knew it. I called it. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I told you guys.
Another very big independent VTuber. Many hours after the initial statement from Nano, she quote tweeted Nano's tweet and said, "My statement on Sinder and Redacted, linking yet another Google Doc."
If I ever am in one of these sort of situations, I ain't gonna type it, bro. I'm not gonna type it. I'm too freaking lazy for that. I'll make a video. I'll make a response. It's like, how could you, like, just do that?
It starts off with a section titled Introduction. I shouldn't have to say this, but me putting out this statement is not a call for or an excuse for anyone to turn the situation into a witch hunt. My intention for making a statement is strictly to give myself closure from the events of the past years and clarify how I have been personally affected. I debated if I wanted to even say anything after being asked if I wanted my name in the original document censored, as the situation is much bigger than just my personal experience. However, after finding out how wide and extensive the transgressions were, I feel the need to give clarity to my situation and how I was personally affected. I want to note, as others have, that though a majority of the messages are from Redacted, who is Cinder's manager, I find it impossible that he acted solely on his own intentions without Cinder's knowledge or consent, given the extent to which he has represented her publicly and professionally. The next section is titled Nano and VTuber1, in which we see many messages that were already included in Nano's document, where Redacted was trying to convince Nano to go exclusive and not work with specific VTubers. As you can see, this is the message where he says you don't work with Bao, Cotton, or Silver at all again, models or art. And then Nanolist says, is there any way to add a little bit more since Silver still asks for art every now and then? To which Redacted says, we could do it like when Silver asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us to buy another art piece, like so you still get a job from it. So they wanted to blacklist Silver so hard that if Silver were to ask for any commissions, Redacted and Cinder were willing to pay.
Dude, it's just nuts. I'm sorry, like, hearing it again, it's just a crazy thing. Because it wasn't like a business, it wasn't that they needed the art. They just they wanted to monopolize this person. It's crazy, dude. It's not even business, it's just selfish. It's selfish.
Pay money to Nano so that she doesn't take the job. We also get more clarity, right? The model that Redacted was talking about was Silver's model. The DMs between Nano and Cinder also reveal to us much more now that Silver's name has been uncensored. Here we can see Nano saying, just wanted to let you know, I still love working with you in Red, but I'll understand if things don't work out because of Silver. I just love my clients, that's all. That was in February 2025, barely 2 months ago. So this person that Cinder was saying, I just get compared to her a lot even still today, was Silver. And Silver had no idea this was happening behind her back. Silver then continues in her document saying, I am VTuber1 in the screenshots provided by Nano in her document. I've been a friend and client of Nano for years, and seeing how she was manipulated and abused by Cinder and Red makes me livid. She's an absolute sweetheart and just wants her clients to be happy. It breaks my heart to see how she was treated like a tool and a resource to be used for growth rather than a talented living person and gaslit into somehow believing that how she was being treated was okay. I am so proud of Nano for having the courage to come forward to the affected people with all of this and to let everyone know how they were being unknowingly sabotaged. I've spoken to her privately and want to be clear that I have no ill will or hard feelings towards Nano for her involvement in this. I urge people reading this to try and understand the emotional manipulation on display and empathize with her situation. There is a lot I could say about how disgusting I find their behavior towards other creators in general, but I want to focus on my personal experiences.
The behavior that Cinder has and her manager is just, honestly, it's, how do I phrase it? Impressively just disgusting. It takes a certain type of individual, and I know I've said it in like a jokey tone, but it really does take a certain type of individual to sit there and sabotage people that you've known for years. I understand why they call her a psychopath, right? Because it sounds psychopathic to know somebody for years, talk to them all buddy-buddy, and truly not give a damn about them? How does that happen? Like, how do you not grow to care about someone like that? Like, that's what gets me. That's the reason I would call it psychopathy, like psychopathy. It's just, it's crazy. I just don't. This isn't even like me being like, oh, I would never. I don't understand. I cannot understand how you don't care about people that much. I understand not knowing somebody, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about this woman refusing to care about people at all. Like, at all. You know what I mean? She somehow, I don't care. I've known you for years, but I do not care about you. How? How does that happen? Like, if someone can explain that to me, I'm all ears. But, like, it just doesn't make sense.
The next section gets real, and it's titled Sinder and I, and this is where she goes into the very weird relationship she had with Sinder and really revealed the depth of the backstabbing. She starts off by saying, discovering that all of this was going on behind the scenes has been gut-wrenching. I didn't know Sinder, we weren't friends, and we have barely talked. Even writing this, I do not understand what I could have possibly done to warrant the level of malice and cruelty shown. In our private interactions, I was as cordial as possible, but I just wasn't interested in associating with her professionally or being her friend. From the few uncomfortable interactions I did have with her, I had gotten the vibe that her primary goal was to climb the social and content ladder and grow her brand. I am fully aware how common that attitude is and that that's just how you grow in this sphere, but I personally don't have the emotional fortitude or bandwidth to have friendships for the express purpose of growth.
Oh, okay. That's where I disagree, or that's where I deviate from Sinder. I have friendships, right? And yes, there is an underlying purpose in this space to grow, but that doesn't mean that's all they are. At the end of the day, they're people, and I know that. Will I be able to talk to all of them forever? Absolutely not. That's unrealistic. But, like, in the time that I'm able to speak to them, and it is in my best interest to do so, and even after, I'll check in on them, right? I'm going to have fun, and they're my friend. I don't have anything negative, right? It's just, there's ill will.
I think it's fine to have that view and approach to content creation, but I also reserve the right to simply not vibe with someone. I would much rather not associate with someone at all than pretend to be their friend for the purposes of growing my brand.
Here's the difference. I don't pretend to be their friend. I suck at friends, by the way. You can ask friends. They send me stuff all the time. I just don't look at it. It's not that I don't value you guys. I really, really do. You guys mean the freaking world to me. I just am weird. I'm a weirdo, and I don't check my inbox. And when I do, I'm like, I'm going to check this. And then I just don't check anything else. So it's not even that I have something better to be doing. It is truthfully, I'm just weird that way. I'm like that with my family. They'll text me. I see that they texted me. And I'll be like, okay, acknowledged. And don't respond. I couldn't explain it to you.
The only time I had actually talked to her directly.
I sent you a few things on Insta. I did see that just now. I'm in the middle of stream. It's all good. So, like, to those of you who do send me stuff, I see that you sent it. I take a mental note, and then I totally forget. I used to be that way. I absolutely used to be that way. And I guess it did change after I started streaming, because I started getting a lot more DMs. But you get the idea. It's not that I don't care. It's just, for whatever reason, I don't prioritize it. And it's not at all personal. It's all of you. No matter how much I like you or I don't. Like, all of you, it's the same.
It was during my meet and greet at TwitchCon 2023. I had just finished my meet and greet, and as I was wrapping up, she walked directly to the screen to meet me, and I had someone else take a picture of it.
I think one time you sent the same thing I sent you months ago. It probably real. Also helps that I'm chronically online and at my desk. My job is to be chronically online. Let that sink in.
Together. I was not informed of this picture or asked permission for it, and only knew about it once I saw it on Twitter later on. And as you can see, this is a tweet from Sinder back in October 20th, 2023, with her saying, "Stop by to say hi after my meet, Wolf Girls." Really making it seem like her and Silver were friends and knew each other, when that wasn't the case at all.
Right.
Silver then continues, saying, "After the meet and greet, she contacted my manager at Mythic to ask me to collab with her. I told them I would rather not collab, but accepted her friend request on Discord after turning her down. In private DMs, she reached out and asked me to do merch or another various form of collab to be monetized, to which I again declined. I will always prioritize my mental health and peace over any potential profit that would make
Right.
me feel used transactionally and put me out of my comfort zone."
That
So
makes
these are
sense.
the DMs
So yeah, like again, oh, here are the DMs. Let me let him read
with
them,
her
and then
Mythic
and then
manager
I'll
saying,
gap.
"Also, Cinder really loved meeting you and wanted to collab, so I told her I'd let you know, and I could throw you guys in a group chat if you were interested." To which Silverveil said, "Hello, I appreciate the sentiment, but I prefer to not do collabs." Her manager said, "No worries, hope you're having a good weekend." To which she said, "Aw, thanks, I'm trying to, just busy on lots of IRL stuff coming up, lol.
Right.
Sorry for not being interested in collabs, I just like to do my own thing, but I'm always open to messages, lol. I hope you had fun at the con and everything went okay." So these are the brief DMs she had with Cinder. Silver starts off the conversation after accepting her friend request saying, "Hi." Cinder then replies with, "Hi Silver, sorry for getting back to you late. I've been super sick from TwitchCon. I guess a lot of us got sick after the last couple parties. I hope you had a good time at your meet and greet. It was nice to see you there. But yeah, no worries if you don't
Oh,
prefer to
there's
stream
so many
together. My
emojis.
manager suggested something more like sponsorships, merch, music, or some kind of other project."
I keep pausing and I apologize. I don't apologize for that. I'm just gonna say that. I don't understand how you could be so like Machiavellian. It's incredible. Like how? You know these people for years, woman. You know them for years. You know them for years. And you just I don't get it.
Together that maybe Mythic could help with if needed. I'd love to chat more either way. To which Silver replied with, "No worries, it's been super hectic and busy for everyone, lol. I hope you're feeling better. I'm really flattered by the persistence, but I'm just not interested in transactional relationships with anyone. I hope you can understand." So then we go back to Redacted's DMs about Silver and we realize just how unhinged both he and Cinder were, accusing Silver of copying Cinder with that spinning figure.
Matt Rat here, guys. Oh my god, bro. I can't believe it.
And saying
I
things
can't
like,
believe
"Oh,
she'd
we
do
just want
that.
Silver to
This
recognize."
isn't even Machiavellian. That's where you're wrong. It is. It's manipulative. Only based on her being her own self-interests. And it's domineering. She does share that grandiosity, right? Or not grandiosity. Pursuit. These are the same thing. Perceived superiority and entire. She's got the whole trifecta, guys. Emotionally cold. Lies about it, which is indicative of remorse, of no remorse. She's, I don't know, impulsive, but I've seen nothing to say that out on its face. But she's got these two. She's got manipulative, self-interested. I'm not sure domineering. Whatever, dude. We're gonna take a whatever. We're gonna. Oh my god, it's so Machiavellian. Ah. Okay. Political philosophy, a general sense, blah 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 blah. Okay. Anyway, let me know when you. Oh, okay. You guys are back. Listen, it is 100% this chick is Machiavellian. The manipulativeness, the deceitfulness, the high levels of self-interest, and a tendency to see other people as a means to an end. Hence her transactional relationships with people. But then she's also got the freaking entitlement and all that other stuff. Emotionally cold. She's known these people for years, and this doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't mean anything to her. Hearing them be like in medical situations doesn't change it. She is a cocktail of things wrong with her. Is about manipulation, personal gain, narcissism, is about believing you deserve admiration. Wow, yes. Ugh. Dude, she's everything. She's everything, bro. Hold on. But they each have a different focus. She's everything, dude. Like she's sociopathic for sure, right? That's that much I know. Machiavellianism is about manipulation for personal gain. She wants to be at the top. She wants to be the most. She wants to be at the very top. I get that, but I don't manipulate people to get there. Narcissism is believing you deserve admiration. That all of it's been like she deserves. She wants. It's her. It's all about her, right? And then to be treated differently than others. She doesn't want the artist to collaborate with other people or make art because she deserves her. You don't get to do that for other people. And then we see the Machiavellian, the manipulation stuff going in there as well. But then sociopathy or sociopath is cold and insensitive to other people, the needs of others, and their emotions, right? And that's what we saw. She doesn't give a damn about these people. She's everything, bro. This chick is a villain. She's a villain. She's a villain. I'm not going to say sociopath. Mentally ill women? No. No, not like this, gang. Listen, I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. Not like this, period. Point blank, period. This chick is insane. Everything, bro. She's Machiavellian. She shows narcissistic tendencies. I understand it's much more, but it's blanket term. I get it. She did this for years. It's just beyond just basic manipulation, dude. Like, let's just face it. It is the using people as a means to an end. It's just freaking crazy, dude. She's got everything wrong with her.
Sinder because she's a big VTuber, and typing in all caps and the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. Adding, I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up each other because Silver can't get along. Bro, she literally said in the DMs she's just not interested in transactional relationships, and she was as nice as possible.
Transactional relationship being...
I've already said this multiple times in this video, but man, this is so weird. Silver then continues in her document saying, I had a new Live 2D models in the works for my birthday with Nano, which was eventually cancelled. I was devastated as Nano was the one who originally asked if she could do this model because she was excited to make it with all the new things she had learned, and my birthday was special. At the time, the reason given was health and stress reasons, which made sense given how much was on Nano's plate, and despite my disappointment, expressed my support for her prioritizing her health. I am now aware that the actual reason for her declining to work with me on my birthday model was external pressure from Redacted and Sinder. Words cannot describe how heartbroken I was and am. She then attaches...
You also got to recognize about your comment about not being Machiavellian. This is just what she's willing to show other people. This is her taking into account she has an image to maintain. How much worse is it when mask is off? That's what I'm thinking about. Because this is all we have. This isn't mask off. This is her pretending to be normal. Also, her boyfriend is terrible. Watch we find out Redacted isn't actually her boyfriend. It's just an alt account. Oh.
was a screenshot with her and Nano in DMs, with Nano saying, Silver, I have to cancel the model commission. I'm sorry, my manager told me I have to cancel the most commissions possible for health reasons. I've been working too hard and it's getting into me. I really apologize for this inconvenience. Silver replies with, I was looking forward to it so much. I love your art so much and I've been so excited for a new model from you. I understand though. You have to prioritize your health and taking care of yourself. I hope your health improves and you feel better. Make sure to get lots of rest and relaxation. Do you know if you'll be able to do it next year at all? Don't feel pressured or anything, just asking. Nano replies with, I'm sorry, it hurts me a lot too. I just wish I could work on everything I could, but I believe I can still go for your model sometime next year. Yeah. Silver then says, that's okay. I know you have a ton on your plate and can't imagine how stressful it must be. Do you think you can still do Gamersub's tub art? And Nano says, oh yeah, illustrations are okay. And of course, they were only okay in the eyes of Redacted and Sinder, who were manipulating the hell out of her. And here Silver attaches two images that we already saw in Nano's document, and here we can see Redacted was saying, you didn't tell Silver you canceled because of Sinder, did you? What's even crazier here is that this message was completely uncensored too, in which Redacted said, well, let's see if Geary wants a Nano model or not and hope Silver finds someone else. So this is yet another content creator that was added to this mess that we weren't even aware of. Silver continues, I didn't—
Off topic, but my face is giving Big Puffer right now. What does Big Puffer look like? I'm either gonna get insulted or complimented. You know, I think it was the former. There. Puff, no, dude. He looks good in this one. Yo, brother, high angle, high angle. Up top, up top. It kind of cooked. It kind of got cooked here.
Didn't think much of it at the time, but Sinder messaged me on Discord right before my model was cancelled. She celebrated that we shared art, despite the fact that at the same time she and Redacted were actively working to take the potential for more away.
Dude, this is... Dude, that's so evil! She's like, oh, hey, Silver. Not that I'm trying to take this away from you or anything. I just got your gamer stuff in the mail, and it looks amazing. It's so cute that we both have Nano's art on our merch, and she's both our model. This is so wrong. Like, hold on. This feels like gloating, dude. This is vindictive. This is just being, it's saying that knowing that you're taking it away from, that's cruel. That is cruel. That is a cruel thing to do. Like, objectively a cruel thing to do. What the
Here you can see a private message from Sinder to Silver saying, hey Silver, I just got your GamerSub stuff in the mail and it looks amazing. It's so cute that we both have Nano's art on our merch and she's both our model mama. This is unhinged psychopathic behavior, bro. Does this person even feel shame? At this point, I don't...
That's so incredibly cruel. She's taking away the artist while and then sends right before the artist goes. So she's aware of the time frame of which this is happening. She does that just to be mean. That's insane. Yeah, I haven't watched Puffer in like 2 years. I kind of see him when he's on with Smitty. I see him a lot, actually, when he's there. Dude, those guys are freaking hilarious.
don't think so. Silver then ends this document with a section moving forward. Sinder and Redacted have spent years sabotaging me for no understandable reason. I have never done anything to warrant this other than just existing as Silvervale. They actively sought to get my models and art cancelled, and based on the messages I have seen and shared above, seem to have not had any second thoughts about doing so. It's hard to express how crushing a feeling it is to be talked about so cruelly and maliciously without my knowing, and to know opportunities and friendships were taken away for what I can only assume is spite and insecurity. There is no end to the amount of anxiety I feel knowing that if these
not even insecurity. I wouldn't even say she's insecure. It's self-interest. Because like none of it really told me that she was like concerned with being overtaken. She was just concerned with growth.
Were expressed to Nano, I have to assume they were expressed to others as well. I hope this document and the evidence presented will convince you that I'm not the person that Sinder and Redacted tried to convince people that I am. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I hope that any and all of the people who have been affected by this can get the closure and peace that they deserve. Yeah, for the first time in this video, I'm speechless. I'm just glad that Sinder focused on VTubing and not politics.
I am not. Sinder, I don't know you. And by God, I hope I never do know you unless you do an entire come to Jesus moment with a lot of work to back that up, right? Because you know what, I'm gonna say it, I do believe in second chances, but what the hell is wrong with you? Not only your biggest advocate, whose hand in your hand, driving the knife, and your mutual friends, or who they thought they were friends with, that they thought was your friend, they thought they were your friend, into their back, you cheat on him, right? Well, he's doing all of this for you. You manipulate, you gaslighted, you smeared, dare I say defamed. You defamed them. There's a legal case there. I hope they take it, right? I hope they take that. Because defamation is exactly what you did. And I think it'd be incredibly valuable for these people to get their actual closure. The comeuppance that they deserve. How could you do that? It is senseless. Because the truth is, if you genuinely were actually the person that you pretended to be, if you just kept that persona and you didn't sabotage, you might have made it, kid. You might have made it. That's the saddest part about all of it. If you weren't doing that, doing this, I should say, you would have made it. If you spent this much time focusing on just the growth and not the putting others down and sabotaging, you actually would have made it. Because hard work is rewarded, not when it's at the expense of others, though, because that comes out, as I'm sure you now know. It really isn't hard to be a good person. You just have to choose. And for the sake of, heck, you, I don't even know you, but for the sake of yourself, I truly do hope that you make the right call. People can change. It's a lot of hard work and it's environmental. You don't hang around crappy people. I'm going to be honest. She was surrounded by good people for years. For years, and she didn't change. It's a choice. Changing is still a choice, and she needs to make the decision to change. And it's sad because there was a lot of potential there. There was a lot of potential, and it frankly squandered. Wasted. Echo chamber, boyfriend. Easy. No one ever clocked her behavior. Well, how could they? How could they clock her behavior when she never really showed them? Right? But that's a very big assumption to make, right? But I'm gonna roll with that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. It is not hard to be a good person. Everybody makes the decision every day. Small, sometimes they don't even realize it. And you made the decision, Sinder, to be arguably the worst person in internet history currently. And I say the worst person in internet history. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Her boyfriend. Yeah, that's easy. That's what I meant. It's really sad. I disagree. It's not hard to be a decent it's not hard to be a decent person, not a good person. You know, I make the call to be a good person every day. At a certain point it becomes easy. It's not hard. Because when you genuinely choose to care about someone, it becomes hard to hurt them. And you know, the truth is, if it comes out, it's easy to be a different person. It's hard to be a good person. I don't think it is. At the end of the day, it's not. It's hard to... Distinction. Being a good person isn't having everybody think you are. Decent, not different. No. Listen. My personal opinion on it, right, and I could be wrong. Personal opinions. You all have yours. I have mine. It is easy to be a good person when you really choose to be. It is easier to be an evil person because, yeah, you do succeed. She got to where she was while one-upping people. I do think she would have made it. You know, if she, in the middle of all this, is like, you know what? Let me not sabotage my coworkers, right? Let me not do that. She could have coasted it. She could have coasted it and rode her positive image all the way up, right? All the way up there, dude. It's easy to be a decent person. It's harder to be a good person. Speech text after that. Once you hit decent, all you got to do is hit decent person, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to go that extra step, and you're there. It's just a choice every day. The same way you choose to make the calls that she did, you choose to be good. It's all choices. And you're 100% responsible for every choice you make, regardless of background, or you're responsible for a choice that led you to make the other choice. Right? Like drinking. I think what Sinder did takes a crap and a ton of work and effort. That's coming from someone who is a dark triad. It's as a small content creator, because let's face it. Yeah, there's a basic level of respect to give to everyone, right? That's yes, absolutely. As a small content creator, it is soul crushing to see that someone would take advantage of bigger creators sometimes bigger. I'm sure she did that. She is awful. Because the truth is, it was, right? I don't know if it will continue to be, but it is a viable measure to grow, to, I don't know if this is the appropriate phrasing, but piggyback off of the success of a larger streamer. Does that mean you're using them? No, because if you're friends with this person, you become friends, you create a friendship. It's a mutual thing because you're going to bring in people because you're different. You're going to bring in people, you both succeed. It's why collabs are huge on this platform, right? Granted, it is way easier as a smaller streamer to get to a mentorship relationship, but that's no longer going to be the case when all of this is going on. That's really unfortunate. By the way, we still have like 30 minutes.
Otherwise, she would have become the next dictator or something. Make no mistake, this happened because Silvervale had boundaries. This happened because Sinder would not take no for an answer. This happened because she's an—
Oh yeah, get boundaries, people. If you have boundaries, I deserve baseline, and someone's below that baseline, you avoid people like Sinder.
Unhinged psychopath. With all these different documents and everyone understanding the real nature of who Sinder was, her career was effectively burning to cinders.
Funny.
Sorry about that. People were very patiently waiting for a more complete statement. So after losing over 10,000 followers and waiting more than 24 hours, she finally just published it 6 minutes. Patiently waiting
She only lost 10K
for a more complete statement. So after losing over 10,000 followers and waiting more than 24 hours, she finally just published it 6 minutes ago. My apology. Let's see if this can actually save her career.
Nope.
Sinder starts off by saying, "There's nothing I can say to make this better, but I will try my best to properly convey my feelings, frustrations, and mistakes. I'd like to explain my point of view and apologize to each party affected. Redacted has been my co-content creator since I began making content, managing all aspects of what I do."
She's putting it all on him. I'm going to tell you, she just put it all on him. That set the tone for the entire thing. I'm not even going to look at chat right now.
And being a major part of why I'm here. We have also been in a relationship since the start of my endeavors. It's no secret that many VTubers choose to keep their public and personal lives separate, and I'm no different. As of yesterday, he is no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. Where our personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. I never intended to mention us publicly, but given that the claims are out there, I want everyone to know I'm taking this seriously. After years of working on everything together, his hyper business oriented outlook warped my view of what it is I should be doing and what should be important to me as I navigate this career path. I have a terrible work-life balance as it is, and being around projects and streams all day every day made me lose sight of the point. It took all of this happening for me to realize this behavior isn't normal or healthy, and it's not an outlook I want to have. This doesn't absolve me of the things I've willingly done wrong and went along with, or the way I've treated people who were fully undeserving. Guys, right off the bat, it's not looking good. Okay, this is this is not going to change much if the rest of the
apology is someone grab a ukulele. Exactly.
Apology is
Ballinger ass apology so far.
Like this. But anyway, she continues, in regards to Nanoless, for the majority of the time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communication about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs. Nano had a project server we were all a part of where the actual art and models were worked on, but the conversations were focused around the work itself. I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission.
I told you, bro. I told you. I was like, she's gonna blame it all on him.
Decisions, and I should have been more diligent in my oversight. Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my point of view, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her art the face of my brand. We had come to the conclusion that it'd be in my best interest to talk with Nano about making more time for my projects by negotiating with her to cut out other work. This was wrong for us to push onto her, and it was wrong to the other creators who wanted the chance of working with her. There was only one specific creator we were responsible for naming and pressuring Nano into reconsidering projects with, not an entire list. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model
Right. Of her own volition after you guys pushed it onto her. Right. Yeah, it's saying, oh, I'm going to do that under duress. Yeah, that makes sense.
Last September. However, the claim that I was just using her is wrong.
Here, right?
Wait, no, this is completely undermining what actually happened. Redacted pressured Nano to not work.
Okay. Think about how Red and Sinder spoke to Nano. That's exactly how they're speaking to us right now. It's undermining Oh, well, and exaggerating details that make others look bad. Red, I didn't know the extent of Red's manipulation. Right, you didn't.
Work with Bao, Cotton, Silver, and there was
Makes
even mention
sense.
of Geary in there. And let's not forget that more recently, Shy Lily was included in there too. So for Cinder to say Nano canceled these of her own volition is wild, seeing that they manipulated her into doing so. Anyway, she continues, I've always treated Nano with respect, and as my friend, I did give her a lot of work, and we did everything we could to accommodate her schedule if she needed more time or a break, and even helped her with her own project payments multiple times. I've invited her on my stream, I've sent her my merch and things she's made for me, and I was always open to talking to her about things outside of our projects in the instances we would message each other. Regarding the exclusivity deal made between them, I had no part in the direct negotiations of their eventual agreement, and I had no knowledge.
See, she's saying things that are legally sound. She's anticipating this to go legal. And she'd be smart to do that. She said, I was not directly involved in their negotiation, which means she was aware of it, but I was not there. I wasn't, like, in the chat. That's all
Knowledge
that
of
means.
Bao and Cotton being included in this list. If I had known my friends were included, I would have said something to put a stop to it. I was only aware of it being about one person who I was unfairly pursuing. When Nano had messaged me about this agreement almost a month later, I was under the impression this was only about Silvervale. I was upset and my initial messages to her were very guilt trippy, but I wasn't going to force Nano to do anything she wasn't okay.
Oh, they're very guilt trippy. I was gonna force Nana to do anything she wasn't okay with. That I was okay with her decision. Yeah, it doesn't read that way. Like, it doesn't read that way at all because you aren't okay with it.
With and tried reassuring her
Oh
that
my
I was
God,
okay
bro.
with her decision. Nano had also never
You notice that she's like, oh, I'm okay with your decision, but either she was giving her extremes, like, oh, okay, if you want to work with them, then you don't have time and you don't want to work with me again. But if you want to work with me, then you don't work with them. So you have to understand that dies the tone of the entire discussion. So of course she didn't take it well. You have this chick who seemingly's got pretty bad anxiety, and yeah, you give her that. Of course she'll agree to anything you want in this way.
come to me as seriously and professionally
My
as her
God.
document was looking to address the issues she had with either of us or to terminate our partnership. I had no idea there was even a conversation about Shy Lily recently between Red and Nano until reading her document. It's true I had confided in Red that lately I hadn't been hearing from Lily like I had in the past and was worried something was wrong, but that's as far as it went, and he took it upon himself to try digging for more info, and I was
There we go again. Undermine and then explode. It's what? Whoa! It's red. Oh, so we being the manager saying, "Oh, we did this, and then they did that." It's, oh well, I brought up Shy Lily, then Red did that. They're the same, bro. It's the same way that Red was talking. In fact, I'll go back when this is done and give you examples.
never even aware Nano was ever planning to work on a model for another one of my friends, Geary. I do not condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. Yes, Red and I were initially upset when Bao hired my editor, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. I felt as if maybe my content wasn't good enough or like I wasn't paying enough for his work, but I
The dude's a freelance editor. That's redundant and unimportant as an argument.
accepted it and was happy for him for getting that bag and supporting one of my friends at the same time.
No, you
I don't know.
weren't.
At this point, these things are very hard to believe. If she confided in Red how pissed she was, she's admitting that yes, she was pissed and she confided in Red. Red then
Oh my God. Do people not know how to lie good? Like lie well? Half-truths, people. Oh, I was upset. Right? That's true. We know that. That much is true. We can confirm that. And then a lie. Oh, Red did this. Or I didn't mean that, but I was upset. It was just a little thing. But then it got blown out of proportion. Then blown out of proportion. Then I'm going to undersell that. It's typical. She's a good liar. Don't
this
get me wrong.
information to add them to the blacklist. But regardless, those feelings are not things you're meant to feel towards friends. Anyway, she continues and she says, and yes, I was also upset when Sack, the Boss Rush music video editor,
Right.
had told us that he won't be working on any future project with us and would instead be working exclusively for Bao. But Red got it in his head that it was Bao's fault that it happened and seemingly held a grudge against her for it. He was
So here's where her argument fell apart. Truly, really and truly. If I knew any of, she says, quote, if I knew any of my friends were blah, 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 I would have put a stop to it. But she knew Red had a problem. And, yeah, I'll let her speak.
He was very passionate about Boss Rush and the potential future projects around it, but he told me about a music video editor as talented as Sack. The future projects wouldn't reach the same heights, so he created this headcanon that's laid out in those.
So she didn't put a stop to him. So she's contradicted herself already. If I knew that my friends were blah, 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 blah.
DMs. I wasn't convinced this was the case, but it's my fault for never speaking with Bao about these things directly to clear things up and letting it spiral to the point it got to.
In fact, I'm even willing to concede that point. Because the truth is, all it is just typical minimize, expand, half-truths. It's all it is. Like, she's saying things that we already know, which makes her feel credible because she's like, oh, well, now she's being honest, so I'm going to take the rest of what she said seriously. Get out of here. Burden of proof is on you. I understand this is incredibly hard to prove, Sinder, but we have no obligation to believe you. If it's true, then I'm sorry that this happened to you. But if it isn't, you got your just desserts, lady.
Every comment here about her own music, guilt tripping, and claims about our shared feelings towards her are disgusting, and I honestly don't know why you thought this way about my close friend beyond the resentment over those two things or why it was worth sabotaging her over. Like, again, if you had the time to confide how pissed you were about this to Red, you could have messaged Bao to clear things up. Assuming you had no idea what Red did, it's still kind of a problem that you didn't want to clear this up in one DM. She goes on to say, the "it's just business" screenshot of my DMs with Nano's document was from November of 2023, and I'll go into my thought process of everything I said here. What Red was trying to explain to Nano is that if everyone has a model by her, then the innate value of her models overall are diminished by there being an oversaturation of that type of model out there. If everyone in the world had a VTuber model done by her, then the value of having her model wouldn't be the same as if there were only a handful of them, which she viewed.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. You're correct, Cinder. Except VTubing is a microcosm on the internet. Which, granted, is an incredibly popular microcosm. If you got to the point where that would be anywhere close to what you're saying, what's the frickin' problem? If they're all unique, right? If they're all unique, which it seems like the true issue you've had is uniqueness, right? Because that's why we see you went after Cerberus or whatever her face was. Sorry, Cerberus. I don't know who you are, but I'm sure you're a lovely person. Maybe. I don't know anymore. Not after all of this. No, but come on. Come on.
As a negative for me. I understand where he was coming from with this, but in the VTuber space, this isn't something we should have pursued, so I was never upset seeing new model siblings. In many cases, I was there cheering them on at their debuts, and looking to collab with them as sisters when I could. Oh, you mean how you met up with Silver at TwitchCon,
Right.
cheered that you guys are both wolf sisters, and then stabbed her in the back? Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
She continues and says, me saying it's just business was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decisions whether she chose to work with me or not. This was not in reference to anyone's model being cancelled, further explaining to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. I can understand where the next part can sound manipulative, but my intention was to reminisce about the journey we had together up to this point, since at this time I wasn't sure if this is where Nano and I would stop working together as frequently as we had been, and I'd have to look for a new model artist. I then encouraged her to work on projects she's excited about while I talk with Red to find a project that would work with her schedule. That's definitely looking at things with the perspective of best case scenario. Like,
Yeah.
I want to believe that's the case, but with how Red was talking, it just makes it very hard to believe. She continues, when talking about Silvervale, I need to start at the beginning. Before I was
Right.
Cinder, I was a pink cherry blossom girl named Tashi that did ASMR content. When the VTuber boom happened in 2020,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to join in. Red and I contacted an artist in October, and they were set to start my VTuber design by December.
It's
The plan
just-
was to take my cherry blossom
Here's
persona.
the thing. Right now, I am wrestling with the idea that this is. I'm wrestling with the idea that I want this to be true. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want to see this chick just like spiral, crash, and burn. But there's too much to back up to back up every other claim. And it would be, if not idealistic, stupid of me to say that she's telling the truth. Because I do want to believe her. I'm open to believing her. It may not sound like it, but that's because I have no... She has the entire goddamn salt shaker worth of salt.
Natashi and make her a pink and white wolf girl VTuber. In November of that same year, Silverveil revealed her Sakura wolf redesign. I had heard of Silverveil earlier that year, but I didn't watch her streams at all. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy of one of the most popular VTubers at the time. Like I've explained many times on my stream, I knew I wanted to be a wolf girl, so I mixed my love of Okami and metal music into the design and came out with a hellhound. My name was originally going to be Ember, but...
Oh, you're so right, actually. This is going to come across as me sending shade to Pokimane. Which, anyway, Sinder isn't going to crash and burn because she has insane diehard fans. She'll just coast along just like people like Poki are doing right now. Dude, sometimes I wish I was born as an incredibly attractive woman so I could just coast. Do you know how easy, like sick that would be if I could just be like, hi chat, boom, billions of dollars. Oh man. Listen, let me just take a second. I'm not saying that's all that they do, but it is most of it for Poki. Now I'm just recognizing so real for that king. Hey man,
Red came up with the name Sinder since it was a mix of Sin and Cinder, both hell and fire themed. It was only a coincidence that it ended up being similar to Silver. I was genuinely interested in pursuing a friendship with her and drew fan art myself of us together.
That's all
See,
Poki does. I know, I just don't want her fans to come after me. I'm scared. You don't know what a man who's any man who has a Pokimane deficiency or a need for Pokimane, or he has a deficiency, scares me. You stay away from me, bro. I understand she's pretty. Cool. Anyway, I'm sure she's a treat to be around. I just don't want to be near her because I feel like people get mad at me for breathing the same air that was in her lungs.
That would be considered wholesome, but then teeters on the borderline of being a stalker when we know how hard she tried to be friends with her.
This is the same guy who said he will call out and stand up for what's right, and he is scared of fans. Have you seen Poki's fans? You would be a... No. You're the clown. That's why you're the one honking the horn. The clown's horn is on you, brother. No. I think it's a perfectly reasonable response to say that her fans scare you. It is fine, dude. You're telling me I have to contend with, like, dudes who are built like 500 pounds on a cut, right? I'm dead. I'm cooked. I'm done. Also, they have chemical weapons. Biochemical warfare. It's called body odor. I don't want to deal with any of that. And Poki, this isn't a jab at you. I'm just saying that's what your content is from the outside. And I don't have a firearm. I'm not taking that smoke yet. This is not a threat, Twitch. This is not a threat. I have a 22, so what? Listen, with how much distance between the outside and their organs are, I think you might need a bigger caliber. Armor piercing. That's what I said what I said. And it's whenever I'm funny, dude. Oh man.
And then ended up backstabbing her. She continues, on the other hand, Red was in my ear the whole time saying how great working together would be since again he's been the business-oriented side of my brand. Since I started streaming, I have been ruthlessly compared to Silverveil, being called the discount version of her. I was accused of copying her design, copying her personality, and even copying her laugh of all things. And there was a large number of people who were diehard believers in the fact that I stole all of these attributes maliciously for my own gain, citing the art I posted of us together calling her an inspiration, when in reality this was referring to the decision to become a hellhound. around. The only time Silvervale was mentioned in the original designing of my character was when we explained why we were pivoting to something else, and there were no references of her character involved. I grew more and more resentful of Silver over time between the constant belittling of myself, a controversy around my first waifu cup, and other incidents, even though she herself never interacted with me directly. And it was also that fact that made me insecure, like I wanted to know if she believed all these things or not. It really felt as if she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. So at the point I was working with Nano consistently, we brought up not making any more models for her. If a VTuber model is how everyone recognizes you, then it'd be harder to compare us directly if we no longer look alike or have that shared similarity. It was a wrong and selfish decision, but it made me feel better, and that's why it was a constant topic with Nano. Red pushed for this harder than I ever did because he knew how it affected me for years, but no matter what the outcome was, I wasn't going to walk away from working with Nano. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to making this choice. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. There's no excuse for any of this. It's interesting, right? Because that's exactly how she made Spite feel. And even though that was the case, she never went out publicly to say, hey guys, stop harassing her. This idea of a VTuber copying another has been a problem in the VTubing sphere for a long time, and that's the community's fault. But I personally don't like how often Sinder is throwing Red under the bus. Even here, saying Red pushed for this harder than I ever did.
Red did this, Red did that. That's what I was saying. It's downplay my involvement. It's half truths. She was there. She said that. Red went on. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You need egging on to do what that man did. There needs to be something for that. She's also not against putting her boyfriend Red on blast, as evidenced by what she said when she was cheating on him.
Yeah, so what? You were aware of this and you were pushing it in DMs with Nano too, so it doesn't matter whether he did or not. Like, I wonder, we're not even halfway through. Is she still gonna push this narrative that Red was doing the majority?
Red was her boyfriend even before she started VTubing. The Pokey editor thing is a deep cut reference, and that's quite, you know, even given my criticisms of Pokimane that have been said just now, no one deserves that. That's rough. I have nothing but sympathy for you, and I genuinely pray to God, to Jesus Christ, that you never have to deal with something like that again, lady. Yeah, no, that... Yikes. Amen. Yeah, no.
Majority of this, and I was on the sidelines, but I'm still sorry. It's like, no, no, you were very much aware. She continues, moving on from Silvervale, let me talk about Spite. Once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red bringing up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver. My design sheet and outfit were finished and made public at the very start of 2021. The first thing she mentions is a debut teaser in 2022 that was apparently posted on the same day as her original debut, which I honestly don't know if at the time this was intentional or not. I don't know when
it's still on Red, bro. It's all on Red. Come on. She sounds like a gambler right now. Put it all on Red, chat. Put it all on him. Come on. What are we doing here? Are we super serious right now? Like, this is just preposterous, dude.
I first discovered Spite, and it could have been after she debuted. When I first debuted, I was very possessive of my design details. I had made it a year and a half since my design sheet was finished and public to having a full VTuber debut, as I watched everything grow and change from the sidelines, and I didn't want anyone else to capitalize on my concept before I could. Soon after my original debut, I remember Spite getting an update to her model that made it seem like she more closely resembled me, including fire added to her model. Without evidence, I saw it and thought she must have copied me, but I never did anything about it other than voice my frustrations to Red.
Oh my god. It's the same thing. Shut up. I don't... Dude, there's no way anybody believes this. Like, you have to be dumb or stupid. Or genuinely just willfully ignorant. Yeah, bro. You know what? What's the funny thing? I'd likely believe Red. Because he just got the finger pointed. He has no reason to cover for her. She's the Spider-Man that pointed at him first. She's the chameleon, bro. They're both the chameleon. But, like, you get the idea. Like, if we're going to hear the truth, it's going to be from Red. It's going to be from him.
want to start drama with anyone, and I didn't have ownership over fire as a design detail. The references for the ripped shirt and shorts outfit on my bikini model was given to Nano in June of 2022 with the purpose of having a cover-up outfit that would be safe for Twitch. The merch art she's referring to was designed around my concept of fire changing blue. The fact that the rest of the art was grayscale was the artist's choice since it was going onto the back of a hoodie and I didn't have a say, or at least I didn't counter that being the final decision. There was no intention to deliberately look like Spite with this piece. Unfortunately, both my Angel and Sleepy outfits being similar to outfits Spite has done in the past was just a coincidence. I had always planned.
I doubt it, to be honest. Red is the center of everything so far. Gonna want to cover their own hide. Yeah, the issue is she uncovered his hide, so there's like really no reason for him to like. It. You know what? It depends. It depends if they stay together. If they stay together, he'll stay silent. Jesus Christ. By the way, this whole what he's saying right now. Oh, the what is it? The pajama, whatever. Where is it? The Sleepy outfits, both the Angel and Sleepy outfits was done in the past was just a coincidence. Yet you released them around the same time.
To one day make an Angel counterpart to my Demon outfit when it was being made in 2023, and my original ref sheet.
That's the point, though. People lie whether they need to or not to get themselves above the water. The truth is, both of them are guilty. Like, ultimately, both of them share, dare I say, equal amounts of blame. I don't think one is more guilty than the other. They both had a part to play, and she's trying to dismiss her part in it. That's what I mean by the truth. The truth is, she had a part to play. Way bigger than she's letting on. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that that Red is innocent. I'm saying that she's pretending to be innocent because none of this makes sense. The moment, okay, hold on. Oh, my brain's been off. I'm turning it on. Oh, now it doesn't make sense. It's like, what are we freaking talking about? You're saying that you guys were really close, right? All of your friends have said something to that effect, that every person corroborates roughly within the same time span that they find it hard to believe that you two were not in the know of what the other is doing. They're like attached at the hip is what I've heard. Honestly, if Cinder only said that very first paragraph, I'd be more okay with her. But the more she goes on, the more disagreeable it all becomes. You know what? That's what's getting me. Now that you bring it up, she's over-explaining. And that's textbook lie. It's textbook lying. Her argument has started to collapse in on multiple occasions here that just don't make sense. That's textbook lying. Like, look at any freaking police interrogation footage.
Sheet laid the groundwork for that idea. I've never liked theming anything around my brand in a religious light, so I chose to make.
That's where me and you differ again, Cinder. Boom! Get destroyed! Anyway, but yeah. Likely some of my merch will be biblically accurate in some way. Because that's kind of the reason I started. I wouldn't have started if I took it a prayer and I was like, oh God, should I stream? He's like, and I was like, and then here I am. So
make my angel form more Greek Valkyrie than biblical, which also gives it a similar look to my demon form. The Sleepy outfit was a last-minute decision to.
I know I did wrong. I was desensitized towards it after being around this long, and I take responsibility was okay. After that, it went downhill. Yeah, she started explaining. Like, if she left that first paragraph, she could say, I don't know what else to say. I'm still working through it. I would have believed her. I would have been like, you know what? That's fair. I could believe that. But this, well, I didn't know. But also I have all of these detail. I have all this detail about it that I just, I've managed to reflect on in a day. And then I've righted my wrongs. This is a lot for one person. It almost seems like you have someone like a manager. When you think it can't get any worse. I haven't continued.
Pivot from a fully new 3.0 model because I had the opportunity to work with gamer subs on an AFK flavor.
Nice.
Spike never should have received the hate comments over her outfit or any comments comparing us or belittling her because of my existence, and I never advocated for anyone to do so, especially given my experience. In regards to Spike, I'll let you decide. Was it a coincidence that so many outfits matched each other? And is it a coincidence that every time Cinder complained about anything?
Yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, take responsibility. You're cooked. You're done.
to Red, he would make it personal. Anyway, she continues. Spite also brought up another creator who reached out to her about their experience with me, and I can only assume it's Niantails. They are an ASMR artist who at one point posted a Hellhound original character for one of their upcoming ASMR videos, and it was undoubtedly created using me as a reference. This was right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. Shortly after, I apologized, and they agreed to adjust the character design, and I thought the matter was settled. At the very start of my online career, I was a
So you mean to tell me she just admitted like, oh yeah, I was oh my god, wait a minute. She's getting to
girlfriend
the
experience
she's getting to the cheating on her boyfriend thing.
ASMR artist. Before I started my channel, I had gotten into listening to roleplay audios myself.
I don't believe her, simply because if what he is saying is true, or what she's saying is true about Red, then it wouldn't make sense that he'd be okay with all these people fawning over his girlfriend. What's up, Kate? What's up, Kara?
I had always been a shut-in throughout high school and college, and I wasn't happy with where my life and relationship were at
Well, because the mustache. I wanted to.
the time. After uploading my first few audios, my channel started growing fast. This was the first time I was inundated with so many people wanting to know me and talk to me, and I got lost in the excitement of it all.
No. Nah, I'll do you guys one better. This is the kind of stuff I want. Brother. Nah, you guys got to do better than what you just did. Come on, guys.
Not
Be
fully
creative.
coming to terms with these messages being because of the kind of content I was making. I was immature and inexperienced with how to conduct myself online. I have never had many IRL friends and had
I frickin' wonder why. Bro looks gay and straight. Good, I think.
met Rain doing ASMR. I quickly became comfortable chatting with him about everything, divulging my grievances about my personal life when I shouldn't have. I cheated on my boyfriend with Rain in these conversations, flirting and sexting. I used Rain for emotional comfort and sexual fantasy while I let my real life relationship collapse. It was about my dissatisfaction with my personal life and escape.
Awareness, that's actually so real. I didn't even think about it. No, I'm unabashedly and unrelentingly straight.
Escaping into messages
Not
with
bi
someone
at all.
else who I found through content focused around girlfriend and
No.
boyfriend RP. It was never about climbing the ladder with Rain, and I find that being his takeaway from why I moved on baffling. By the time I was ready to debut as Sinder, I wanted to leave that in the past. Still, to this day, I
This I
regret my
believe.
decisions and have been living with it since, and I was lucky to be able to mend my relationship after this. So she confirmed, she cheated, and Red was fully aware, at least as far as we know. Yeah, maybe Rain did have the wrong conclusion here. Maybe she actually moved on because she wanted to leave this part of her life behind. Sure,
I'll
but did
believe
she
that.
cheat? Yeah.
Yeah.
She then continues and says,
She
and
cheated, though.
lastly, I want to address Peaches. This is a very big problem I have, and I'm sure many others in my position do too. At the end of the day, I am one person. I am one person working on multiple projects with multiple companies, talking to dozens of people, and streaming for hours almost every day. I've never had a big social battery, and I get tired very easily when interacting with people. I haven't had much energy at all over the past year, leading to me taking frequent naps. I've rarely been able to keep up with my closest handful of friends on a frequent basis, let alone everyone else.
Maybe
Red
one
has
day
always
we'll-
been a big help in keeping up with things, but he doesn't do everything. I'm so sorry I made you feel forgotten, Peaches. I've always cherished your friendship, and I was so incredibly excited to meet you in Paris. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me, and I've never thought to purposefully
Peaches?
drop you just because I could. I'm sorry, I know I've made a lot of people feel forgotten or ignored. It's so easy to get caught up in projects or what I'm doing while I have the energy to do it that people
I
fall
don't know
by the
who this
wayside.
Peaches
I understand the
person
feelings
is.
of those who resent me over this, and all I can say is I'm sorry. I don't deserve to be able to contact everyone involved directly to personally apologize, so I'll do it here in the chance they read it. So before
Oh
we
my
get into the
God,
individual
bro. Ah, man. We need the rat clown emote now that we have the clown horn. Okay. Well, I do know I'm still in contact with
individual apologies, I just want to clarify, Peaches
my-
means Van
my
Peaches.
artist.
This is the same VTuber
my
who called
artist,
her
sorry,
out for
that's a
having a
very-
boyfriend and trying to hide it
I'm
from
sorry,
her,
that's a very-
as if they didn't know each other.
no, it's,
Now let's get into the individual
commissioner.
apologies, starting with 2Nano. I'm sorry I let things get to this point or even entertain
she
the
still
thought
owe
of you
you a
working
free one?
exclusively
she
with me. That's
does.
not
You're
fair
so
to
right.
you. I wouldn't
But
be
I was thinking about getting that to. You're so right. I was thinking about going to my Twitch, right, and then getting a banner made. But I've been kind of brainstorming it for a bit.
here without you, and I wouldn't have been able to do most of what I've already done without you. I felt overly attached to our relationship over the past 4 years and loved your work so much that I wanted to make
I have
myself
an
exclusive
idea.
to your art and should have
I
never
don't
sought
know
those
how
feelings to be
it'll go,
reciprocated.
though.
Everything you've ever worked on for me was always so perfect, and I lost sight of how everyone else around me would have felt. I had no intentions of pressuring you into anything, but looking
maybe,
back on my
maybe.
cloud
I'll
of
run it
judgment,
by
I can
her,
see how
and
my
if she's like,
messages
"That's a
felt that
little
way.
much."
When I talked about how my models helped you improve, I meant
I'm
that
not
as
gonna
looking
offer an
back on how
alternative.
far
She's like,
we've
"That's
come
a bit much
together.
for a
We've been
freebie." I'll be
friends
like,
for
"Okay,
so
cool."
long and cheered each other on when we both started growing and getting more opportunities like plushies, figures, etc. You had been my exclusive artist for full life 2D models for the majority of my time as a VTuber, and of course I would have been sad if you didn't want to continue that relationship, but in all our private DMs, I was okay with you ultimately doing what was best for yourself. I saw you
Just it reads as ideal. That's what this reads to me as. It reads as could also discounted awareness. I like the way you think. By the way, this does, like I was saying, this reads to me like I have an I have an ideal way that this could have gone. Right.
as someone I trusted and loved and wanted to make sure you were still taking care of yourself
for
with
the
all the
banner, I have
projects
an
you took on,
idea,
mine or
but,
otherwise.
I
I
need
never
to-
saw you as
I
just
need
a
to talk to
business
people who
partner.
knew
I
that
thought I was
know better than
reassuring
I
you
do.
that I'd always be understanding if you wanted to move on to other projects. I genuinely appreciated our friendship. I always saw you as a close friend, and I'm sorry for what I put you through. To Bao, since the start, I've always admired you and how genuine you've always been to everyone. I wouldn't be here without you either. I'm disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. I've never had such genuine friendships in my life, especially with you. We've gotten to know each other so well online and in person. You've already been through so much, and the last thing I'd want to do is cause more harm. Well, that's a
Me
bit too
and you
late.
both.
But I
I'm
did.
just
I'm sorry
fortunate
for
right
not
now
reaching
being in
out
the
sooner
possession
about
of
these
something.
ideas that were put into my head. I wish we would have been able to talk about this too. I didn't know about the severity of things that had been said and theorized about my own friends behind my back until now. It's my fault for not realizing the things Red was saying about you. The countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things. Wait, did she just say, the countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things? Like the friendships mean more to you than your boyfriend? Or did she just write
I think this guy's picking at something.
this
I
like in a
don't see.
non-clear way? Anyway, no amount of popularity or money means more to me than the relationships I've built in this community. I've always been myself, whether that be on stream or in person, and I hope the friends I made can understand I never condone this behavior or any of the things that were said about my friends. I've always wanted everyone around me to thrive and find happiness. I can't stress enough how disappointed I am that I didn't see this sooner until it got to a breaking point. I'm sorry, Bao. After all these documents and these different people and their perspectives and their points of views, is there a single word that you believe in this paragraph? Let me know in the comments. Next up we have Tasak. I loved getting to chat with you in person and
I don't
absolutely loved all the hard work you put into the Boss Rush song. I was so grateful to hear you were on board to edit the music video. I don't remember exactly why the stream got pushed back, but I definitely wouldn't have put the blame on you knowing about how soon the deadline was when you started working on it. I was so thankful for your willingness to complete the project despite everything, and the quality of how it turned out was incredible. I can't believe how Red talked about you, especially after all the effort you put in for me. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. Next up we have Takaten and Shy Lily. They don't get individual apologies, they got grouped up together. Anyway, she says, I'm so sorry you had to get dragged into this. It's my fault I let it get this far, but I hope you can believe me when I say I had no knowledge of Red bringing you up in Nano's DMs. I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by the narrative that things always had to be competitive. If I knew Red was trying to exclude specific friends in this exclusivity deal, I would have spoken up. None of my friendships are
didn't,
worth
though.
sacrificing
She
over an
even
art
said
piece.
so.
I love being your friend and all the memories we've shared, and I hope someday you can forgive me for allowing this to happen. Next up we have To Silver. Since the start, I loved that I saw someone else sharing so many similar interests to me, and I thought maybe someday we could talk about it all and be good friends. I was blinded by all these hate comments around me calling me your lesser half. I hate the person I've become towards you. I tried reaching out some time ago to try to start up a friendly conversation to change things and make things right, say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors, but despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my own doubts and fear or harassment. I was pressured by the community as a whole to try reaching out to collaborate since I got these messages so often comparing us, and I hoped we could work something out. The photo of me at the meet and greet was taken candidly and I thought it looked cute, and I posted it without asking you, which was wrong of me. I was so wrong for letting everyone get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm so sorry for any
Oh
opportunities.
my god, bro. It's like gets worse every time, bro. You know what? Just like, I'm sorry I let everyone get to me. It's everyone but my fault. It's everyone's fault, not mine. Chat, do we believe her for a second? I gotta ask. Like, no, don't even feel like to tell me what you think I want to hear. Just be honest. What is this, bro? Like, what is this? All I'm hearing is, oh, it was red, and if it wasn't red, it was all these hate comments, and if it wasn't these hate comments, it was the manipulation. I don't know, dude. This is, oh my god, Evie! Hi. I've decided to just go fully into this. My god, there's been so much. There's been so much. Wow. Just wow. I don't even have words. Crazy, right? I've made the discovery that oh, what, my bad. That she's Machiavellian. I made yeah. It's about manipulation for personal gain. Sounds a lot like Sinder. She's kind of like everything. Just so you're aware, Matt, stuff like this comes out every couple months, so you'll be deep diving into VTube once you get deep diving into VTubing communities. Dude, that's just an infinite content machine. VTubers, keep it up. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely, I'll keep my eyes on it. I think it'd be pretty interesting to kind of pay a visit every now and again, see what's the latest VTuber drama. Because the beautiful thing is, I don't know most of you, but if it is one of you, like that I know, like if Evie ever got involved in something, then I wouldn't report on it, because like that, I'm not gonna make money off of a friend. That's just lame. Because then how I would be no different than Sinder. I would just be in the 3 dimensions. People backstabbing all the time. You know, I feel like it happens in the VTuber community a lot more than just normal streaming. Because you guys are glorified profile pictures. Does that make any sense? I feel like that makes sense. Because you guys, it's good I'm not big. I don't know. To some extent. I don't know how to get into drama. Oh, you don't need to know how. The drama will get into you. I'm glad I caught myself. The drama will find you. It's going to find you. It's going to go. It's going to happen. It's just... It happens. I've gone into VTuber drama already. You have? Brother, stop.
I've taken away from you. I'm sorry,
I made a mistake.
Then we have the shortest apology in the entire document, to Spite. I'm sorry I had assumed things about your design that weren't true, and I'm sorry you've been harassed by commenters needing to compare us. And I apologize for the way Red spoke about you to Nano. You didn't deserve any of this, Spite. I'm sorry. Next up we have Van Peaches, 2 Peaches. I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was ignoring or ghosting you. I was so happy we had the opportunity to meet in person, and I was apologizing.
I'm gonna guys, there's a guy who's literally perfect, and they still nah. Only if I'm a bad person, but I don't do dumb things. There's someone who wasn't a bad person, didn't do dumb things, right? People still hated him. That was I'm quite proud of that.
Apologetic with how busy things were for me at the time. I wanted to spend more time with you, but as I got more and more DMs and messages, everything became so overwhelming. I've always had a low social battery, and that made it so hard for me to keep up to date with all my friends. I've never had any ill feelings towards you, and I still don't. Next up, we have Rain. 2 Rain. You were the first person I met as an ASMR artist during a time where I was immature and vulnerable. I ended up being consumed by the content I was making, and it led me to making awful decisions I still think about and regret. I was not—
Oh my god, bro, the immature and vulnerable. Like, people hate Markiplier and other wholesome creators for no other reason that they're successful. I'm eventually gonna be at that point, bro. Okay. That is something I realized. Watching back some of my VODs, I do things that are very Markiplier-esque. And I've never even been like a huge fan. I was more of a Jacksepticeye fan. But I do that thing with my voice where I'm like, no. Copium? Oh, damn. Definitely. Dude, if I could be like Mark, not even like popularity yet, but if I could be like Mark, ooh, that would be fire. I think I just scratch a weirdly similar comedic itch.
In a good spot at the time. I've hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a long time for me to move on from what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry you were dragged into my drama, and I'm sorry how I made you feel after I just wanted to close the book on things. And finally, she says, I'm sorry to my Pyro Pups and my mods for expecting me to lead a better example than this. I'm sorry to the VTuber community for looking towards me as someone to aspire to.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Markiplier. Welcome back to. He just doesn't.
I'm sorry to Kaiser, who's put his
It's
heart
been a
and
while
soul
since
into
I've
everything
seen
he's
him
ever
upload.
done
Is
for
he
me,
all
and not
right?
even
I
talking
hope
to you
so.
about how I felt. I'm sorry to the
Is he in the
dozens of
hospital
artists that
again?
have put their
Mark,
hard
come
work
on,
into me, and I'm sorry
dude.
to the rest of my friends who I've
We
let
gotta
down.
collab at
I've led a
some
bad
point. I'm
example, and I don't
incredibly,
expect
like,
forgiveness.
kind of
I've
near
made
your
many
level.
mistakes over my 5 years on the internet, and I'm only one person living the one life I get for the first and only time, like everyone else. As I said at the start, I ended up developing an extremely unhealthy work-life balance, and the harm Red has caused with the way he viewed things is irreparable. The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward, and this goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I'm going to continue being a creator. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me may understandably never
really?
be mended again.
should check
I
it
love my
out.
job, and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading. Signed, Sinder. Woo! What a read! My voice is almost gone. What did I get out?
There was one recently about a parkour horror game, White Knuckle. I remember now. I didn't watch it, but I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. Yeah. Is this all of it? Okay.
Out of this? Well, it was kind of what I was expecting. There's nothing she can really say that can repair what happened. Sure, Redacted was her
Okay.
manager.
Let me think. I don't believe her. I'm just gonna say this. I don't believe her for a very, very simple reason. The amount of deflection. She apologized in a way that deflected as much blame as she possibly could have. Like, oh, okay, well, I assumed this. But then Red, like, completely shaped my worldview. You think we're stupid? Our RP is... Yeah, she is. I don't know what that means, but I agree. It comes across as she's trying to completely deflect as much accountability as she can. And the idea that you're even considering, that you have the gumption, the gall, to come in here and say, if I'm to continue being a creator, you need to take a step back and assume that you aren't. Of course, I want to continue being a content creator, but I don't know if that would be a possibility. Because right now it just sounds like you're like, okay, putting this aside, I want to jump back in. Oh, yeah, exactly. Genji is known for deflecting and reflecting all projectiles that come near him. Oh, yeah, okay, then yes, I fully agree. Fully agree with you. It's a shallow apology where most of the blame falls on others, and the little blame that you do assign to yourself is the only thing that you couldn't deflect.
He was doing the talking for her, and even if we were to believe her and give her the benefit of the doubt 100%, we still have proof, and she admitted that she was purposefully targeting Silver. All of this was also happening over the last couple of years, maybe even a bit longer. This isn't just about her not being aware and Red being the guy who did all of this by himself. This is about how she's the boss, Red is her manager, and in any other industry this would be considered gross negligence. Just imagine with me for a second, if Nano didn't make her document, then how long would this have carried on? I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, this is ridiculous. And it's actually very easy to shut down all her excuses. She was there when Bao showed her the model that Nano was working on. Throughout this entire document, she kept saying how Nano was more than just an artist. She was her friend. She loved her. When Bao vented to her and her friends in the group chat that the model was cancelled, a true friend would have messaged Nano, asked what was going on. A true friend would have reassured Bao, seen how they could help, but she didn't do any of this as if she was already planning it to begin with, and guess what? She was. Throwing your boyfriend under the bus for everything is just not gonna cut it.
She would have ended up at the top, and then the dots would have started connecting, and the rug would have been pulled out from under her. I don't think she would have lasted 3 months on top of the VTubing space, because it's incredibly sad that that's how she decided to go about things. And do I think maybe Red was responsible for kind of putting the idea in her head? Yeah. But she is fully responsible for continuing to have that idea in her head. Years. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Of course, I mean the VTubers.
Other VTubers, especially the ones mentioned in the document, thought the same thing. So they made sure to publicly reply. When she saw her response, Bao replied almost immediately, saying, How? How can you say you didn't know? I showed you both my base model sketch from Nano at WeepCon. We walked on stage and performed together. You were in the group chat where I shared my sadness over Nano suddenly canceling my model after we were so close to begin Live 2D and rigging. And to now find out that just the day before I shared my sadness, this is the conversation that happened that ruined months of debut prep, planning, merch preparation. If you want to apologize to me, please do it properly and stop hiding behind red.
It's hiding
About
behind.
attaching
There
the
we
two screenshots we already saw in Nano's document and a new screenshot showing the group chat where she vented about Nano dropping her. It's just not adding up. This apology is only making things worse and even weirder for Sinder. Shy Lily replied to this apology and
Oh, dude. That's a whole nother level. Oh, yeah, dude.
here's what she had to say.
Oh, yeah.
The absolute audacity to sit here and continue to manipulate and gaslight
That's
is
what I was saying.
absolute insane.
By the way, Lily and I had the same opinion. I said from the jump, this is exactly what she was doing to Nano. She's speaking to us the same way she spoke to Nano.
Insanity. The pain and mental torment you've caused to the ones closest and most supportive of you has been devastating, and I have never been so heartbroken and hurt so badly for my friends. You are the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting. Reading and hearing of how you've really viewed me behind my back, not just through screenshots of your man, but also your very own messages, while having to sit here and read through these bullshit lies you spin makes me want to vomit. To claim that you didn't know a single thing and had zero awareness of what your man was up to when everyone who shared even a single moment with you knows that you basically operate as the same person, sharing every waking moment while loving to jump at the slightest opportunity to turn into your most slanderous self as soon as the opportunity was given, even when talking about your friends, is sickening. I have experienced your own actions without red, in a situation where in your own screenshotted words you express a pressure to live up to what Lily is, and proceeded to throw one of your most loyal and supportive friends under the bus after months of continuous planning just because you consistently chose business over friends, never feeling bad for failing them. Just
We're
to earn
looking
the
at
bag
this
and
Sinder drama. What's Mujin doing here? He's explaining to our lovely viewers and streamer that what's going on with the Sinder drama. You kind of came in at the end here, but we got 10 more minutes in this. My God, I didn't realize how deep this rabbit hole was.
compete with me over a V-Card collab that you rescheduled to be on the exact date your friend needed you to keep an important promise. You actively lied about it to them, instead blaming me for a collab you rescheduled, adding me to the pool of excuses to save your ass when you realized you were being a bad friend. Why blame me for choosing to miss an obligation you agreed to on one of the most important days in that friend's career? Everything you do is out of competition through your constant need to one-up people who are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to earn from to begin with.
That's what dude, me and Lily are kind of like cooking. Actually watching, what Shy Lily said was crazy. I said this earlier and you weren't here, to be fair, but when Lily said that the one-up the people that are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to begin with, I said the same thing. Like, I can't imagine how much damage this is going to do to the growth opportunities on this platform, in streaming as a whole. Because while this may have taken place on Twitch, right, I believe, it was so damaging. Because what Lily just said, what big streamer this is gonna be fresh. What big streamer is gonna look at someone like me who's like, hey, I kind of want a mentorship sort of thing? Because that's something I would totally be down for. If a big streamer was like, hey, let's start like a mentorship thing, let me help you grow because you got potential. That'd be huge. It'd be huge for any small streamer, right? I can't see that ever happening now. Of course, there's going to be obviously work that goes into it. Like, if you're going in there without the mindset to work on it, but having the opportunity and having a platform that's much higher than yours, where more eyes are on you, is going to be good. Publicity is fine. There's going to be like a couple of people who think you're chill, but you have to work. You have to be open. You have to do all this sort of stuff. Because the one thing that I see some people do, and I'm not going to name names, I don't know them. The fact that Sinder was putting everything on her boyfriend, the magic guy, was flabbergasting. It was crap. She was doing the same way that she explained it. It was like a minimize and then a blow up, a minimize and a blow up. She was doing this. She was speaking to us, the viewer, the same way that she spoke to Nano. I said it before earlier. It's just
You're welcome,
crazy.
by the way. You claim that it's just business. Well, in the business world, there has to be accountability, and all you've
Exactly.
done is try to shove it away and admit nothing. In true
Exactly.
narcissistic fashion, you're only feeling sorry about yourself and your own consequences in your career and try to salvage it. I'm sorry for everyone who looked
She's cooking. Lily, you're incredibly intelligent. I don't know you, but kudos. That's insane. I said it too. The immediate jump to, well, I want to continue content, but if I'm gonna do that, whoa, let's take a step back. What do you mean continue? You are the internet's most hated right now, probably next to Kanye and the president of the United States. What do you think you're talking about? Lily is womp work of VT. What does that mean? What does that mean? Chat, I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about. What does that mean, chat? Doesn't matter.
up to you as an inspiration, and I'm especially sorry for your fans. Pyropups deserve better. Wow. You know, Shy Lily typically avoids drama even when there's her name involved. She avoids it. She never gives it any attention, but this time, not only did she have something to say, she gave out a career-ending statement, bro. And speaking of career ending, Cinder's post has almost as many comments as likes, with many people expressing their discontent. The most liked reply here is Buff Pup saying, "Dude, f*** off." And as you can see, some of the biggest independent VTubers on the planet are here saying how disappointed they are, while simultaneously not being in the slightest convinced by anything in this quote-unquote apology of hers. It's a disaster.
Man.
But you would be gravely mistaken if you thought this was the end. No, this incident is the gift that keeps on giving. Aru, the literal ass behind the Invisible Woman in Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. They actually used her as reference. But more importantly, she's a streamer and content creator who used to be a VTuber and is on friendly terms with Silvervale. She revealed to us after Cinder's catastrophic apology that her weird obsessive/stalker behavior towards Silvervale didn't start in 2023. This went on for way longer, and she tried to use Aru to get to her. Here's what she had to say in her statement. "I hadn't planned on tweeting anything about this until I saw
Chat, do we know about this?
Cinder's apology. While I wasn't hurt to the extent others were, it's clear now that I was lied to and used, not treated as a friend, but as a tool. I first met Sinder during a Twitch Rivals tournament and really looked up to her. We hit it off, messaged a lot, and got even closer at TwitchCon 2022, where I spent most of the day with her and Red. At one point, she noticed I was mutuals with Silvervale, someone I admired since meeting her at PAX, and asked if I could introduce her. I thought she was just a fan like I was. Cinder invited me to go with her to Silvervale's meet and greet, and it meant a lot to me. As someone who didn't grow up with many social invitations due to being homeschooled in a foreign country, that gesture felt special. But looking back, I realized she only invited me because she thought I could give her access to Silvervale. After I introduced them, Cinder pushed me to ask Silvervale for a collab. I'm someone who rarely initiates collabs. I prefer to build friendships off stream first or let things happen naturally.
I am.
Still, I went out of my comfort zone to help because I believe she genuinely admired Silvervale. Now I know that wasn't true. And realizing she actually harbored resentment the whole time makes me feel completely used. I wasn't a person to her, just a connection. I did message Silvervale
A means to an end.
about the collab the first time, but when Cinder followed up again, I brushed it off because I didn't want to pressure her. Over time, I started noticing that Cinder didn't treat me like a real friend, more like a means to an end. Sometimes she made it
Means to an end.
clear IRL that she didn't even like me, and I can't help but think it's because I didn't push harder for the collab. By 2023, our interactions had nearly stopped. Still, I tried to keep things friendly in DM/IRL because I didn't know how to stand up for myself or set boundaries. Don't worry, even if you set boundaries, she would have still found a way to backstab you, right? Look at Silvervale. Anyway, she continues, "That's changed now for obvious reasons. It's hard to say, but Cinder's apology doesn't feel genuine, especially not towards Silvervale. The truth is, Cinder isn't the only one who makes others in this space feel used or small. People like her, Yaki, and others made me feel that the best choice for myself was to step away from VTubing entirely and made me afraid to build new connections. But as I said yesterday, there are good people in this space, and they're the ones worth holding on to. Don't let the bad ones stop you from being your genuine self. To my community, I think I'd like to try coming back to VTubing. When we talked about it last night, hearing how much all of you love the VTubing streams honestly hit me hard. It made me sad to realize I gave up on something I loved just because of the shitty, awful people who poisoned the space for me.
Yeah,
To
don't
the
do
friends
that.
I pulled away from because I was
like, if you love a space, like a place to be, right? And obviously this is all contextual. If you love doing something, and then people who make doing that thing upset you, don't tuck your tail between your legs and leave. It's them winning. You're gone. You can be a positive change for the platform. And I know a lot of people don't like to rock the boat at all. You gotta rock a boat in order to cause waves. Even a ripple can make a disturbance. Okay, a ripple can shift the trajectory of something in the water. Okay.
Trying to protect my peace, I'm sorry. I'd love the chance to reconnect and rebuild those friendships. I started VTubing because I believed in the joy and creativity of this community. It's heartbreaking to see that spirit dimmed by people who take advantage of others' kindness, hold them accountable, call it out. What I went through wasn't nearly as intense as what Nanolis experienced, but I do understand how hard it is to say no to a friend, especially when they make you feel like you're the only one who can help. I truly hope everyone affected by Sinder can heal and move forward, and I'm sorry for any negativity this situation has brought up from my side as well. She then links 3 different images of DMs between her and Sinder. The first image is from 2022, and it's Sinder starting off the conversation saying, "Would you want to come meet Silvervale with me at 2:30 p.m?" Aru then says, "Of course, I'll go with you," to which Sinder says, "I'm just really nervous and I think I remember you meeting her before." Dude, she is so sneaky. Aru then says, "Yes, I've met her. Oh my god, she's so nice, don't worry." To which Sinder said, "You're the best, oh my god." Aru said, "That's you. What time do you want to meet up?" Sinder said, "Whenever you're free," and Aru said, "Okay, I'll be free in 10. In the next image, a few days have passed, and it's Cinder saying, "Were you still thinking about messaging Silvervale about a Wolf Girl chat? I'm not sure if she'd really want to, but I'd love to do more with you anyway. We should plan our spooky collab when we've recovered from this weekend." Aru then says, "Yes, let me message her and ask if that's okay. Yes, I agree, let's plan something." Cinder then says, "We can wait a bit if you're still recovering, but if you had a day/time in mind, just let me know. My schedule's pretty open right now. I know I'm pooped from this weekend, but I want to do lots with my friends still," to which Aru said, "Sounds like she would be down to play games together once her schedule clears up." In the third image, we see DMs between Aru and Silvervale, with Silver saying, "Hi, it was amazing seeing you too." Aru then says, "I was wondering if you'd ever be down to play some games off stream if had time. Totally understandable if you're too busy though. Cinder and I were just talking about how fun it would be to have a canine night. Cinder was the hellhound that was with me at the meet and greet." Silvervale then said, "That would be a ton of fun. I've been really busy lately with the con prep and stuff, but things have been calming down lately." There's also a fourth image, so it wasn't just 3, and these are DMs with Cinder and Aru around a couple weeks after the initial meetup, and it's Cinder saying, "Hey Aru, have you heard from Silvervale about doing a Wolfie collab with us?" To which Aru said, "Let me message her right now." So hey, yet another person that Cinder manipulated and used. What a surprise. Bear in mind that a year later she would go on to also show up to her meet and greet and tell her mythic manager to message her on her behalf. I'm telling you, the people involved here need to get a restraining order on Cinder. This is ridiculous. Shortly after this disastrous apology, Bao went live to talk about it, and look, it was very
I'm gonna be totally silent for this.
emotional. Here's what she had to say. I'll let her do the talking.
And what I would have done if I was in their shoes, I just I can't understand. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. We had been through so much offline and online, and there is nothing more confusing and more painful than seeing someone in your friend group be so kind and so warm to everyone around you, and feeling that they have slowly become colder and colder towards you, and not knowing what you did or if it's your imagination. But because everyone loves them, you don't know if you want to say anything. And so you keep it to yourself, and you keep hoping it's your imagination. But then the cruel realization hits that it wasn't. And it's even more worse than you could have ever imagined.
So yeah, it's definitely a very hard watch. Look, to the average person, this is just another drama, but to these people like Bao and Cotton and Silver and so
Okay, I'm not stunned. There's nothing I can really say on the matter. Like, of course I feel bad about the situation. Like, it sucks. Like, it very clearly, very, very clearly sucks. Listen, yes, I'm a content creator, And yeah, I could make content about what just happened on screen, but that isn't appropriate. Like at the end of the day, what Mujin is saying is correct. This was hard to watch. Yeah. At the end of the day, what Mujin said is correct. To some of us, this is just VTuber drama, right? Like, I don't know these people. They don't know me. Heck, they don't even know that I am a guy with a weird little caterpillar on his face, right? But at the end of the day, this person thought they had a friend of many years, and that friend ended up being someone who just was out to use the connection for growth. The shallowest sort of friendship. It makes you question literally everything you thought you knew about them and everything you think you know about your other friends. What if they're doing it too? That's soul crushing. I don't have anything interesting or funny to say. I truly do feel bad. Now, do I emotionally feel bad? I don't. But I can acknowledge that this is terrible. And it's a whole different thing. And I hope that they do recover sooner rather than later. I hope it's not going to be a thing that dies their experience with content creation. Because I can't even imagine being in her position. That's where I'm at.
So many more. This is real life. This is someone they've known for years and genuinely thought that they were close and they were.
The last they shared, the fun that they had together, all fake. I sincerely can't imagine. I find this sort of thing happens all the time in VTubing. I've had similar experiences in two VTuber groups I've been a part of before. Yeah, and I from what I'm hearing, VTubing is treacherous. It's a treacherous form of content creation. I don't laugh as like it's funny. Last equal laughs. Exactly. Like, it makes you rethink every interaction you've had with someone. And it feels gross, I'm sure. Like, in my opinion, it'd feel like, were they even actually laughing with me or at me? What at what point? Were they ever sincere? That sort of stuff makes you rethink your outlook on life. To some, especially when it, in this case, where it looks as if there was a very strong attachment.
Friends, and they tried their best to treat Sinder like a precious person, not just a content creator or a VTuber. This is not something they'll just get over, right? They need therapy. They need psychiatric help. This is trauma. It's very hard to trust someone after something like this, as I've already.
Right. And I don't know if this will bleed over to the non-VTuber space. I wouldn't be surprised for something of this magnitude, right? Because it's a big event. It is a big event. It was some of the biggest VTubers. Does that mean the smaller communities and creators don't matter as much as this? Absolutely not. This is worse than cheating. I guess it depends who you ask. I would say this is a lot more public than cheating, because these people are internet celebrities. I would say that people are going to feel more strongly about this than the cheating. I don't think this is going to affect people much. I would agree with you normally, but because these are like the people in the business, this is going to, at least a bit of it's going to make its way over to mainstream stuff. And VTubers are mainstream now, so I don't know.
You mentioned this didn't happen.
Admittedly, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, right, chat?
Overnight, this was a multi-year operation from both Sinder and Redacted to backstab her friends, and she only apologized because she got caught. That is it, and people won't be forgetting about it anytime soon. But the question on everyone's minds is no doubt, is this the end of Sinder? Well, not necessarily. She might have burned every possible bridge in the VTuber community, but that doesn't mean she won't have viewers. She's an absolute psychopath that can't be trusted, but hey, other creators have done worse things and they still have a career. Right. She will just never be able to reach the same level she had before this controversy, that's for certain.
If not, like, after this comes out, she's not going to be famous anymore. There's simply going to be plenty of Simpson stands for her. You know what the worst of it is? There's probably going to be more. You want to know why? Or they're going to be more intense. They think they have a chance now that there's a rift between her and her boyfriend. And I'm going to say this just once. If you think that way, you're a freaking loser. I like I don't even say that to be mean. Like that's truthfully, get some freaking help. I don't care who you are. You deserve better than that. I'll freaking give I'll give her ex potentially her ex the benefit of the doubt. You didn't know. But if you out there think that going with Cinder is better than being single, get some goddamn standards. It's not even that.
certain. And in the end, controversies like these
To fix her, you can't be broken. Because if you got a crack, you're gonna fracture. All right? It's just not gonna work. Let's face it. And no. If you think like that about this, you're a moron. And I'm doing you a service telling it to you straight. You cannot fix her. You just can't. Heck, I don't even know if she can fix her. Let's be freaking honest here. I hope she can. In fact, I would like that. Put that down in Matt Rack. Matt Rack, dude. New alt account decided.
these only serve to hurt Gamer Subs even further. She's a partial owner. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped her. Anyway, that's the entire drama. I don't know how long the videos.
Hold on, let's see. Have they done that? Have they dropped her? If they haven't, speech to tech. Really proving its point there, huh? What was it? Why is my brain just not working? Totally forgot what I was doing. Oh, right. What's it called? What's her name? Oh, yeah. Has Cinder. Gamer Subs. Let's go! Okay, so apparently yes, she's been dropped. Nope. That's a new drop. No word yet. Had someone send me STT and it came out. Dragon breath goes up. The what?
Is going to be, but just because you made it until the end, you get the reward of seeing what 4chan has to say about it. That's right, 4chan is back, baby. It was hacked, but now it's back. Let's see what they think of this drama in the mega thread. All right, this is it. Let's see what the top comment has to say. That's great and all, but I don't care whatsoever. I just want to f Cinder's tit. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. I love you so much, and I'll see you.
Don't be like 4chan, chat. Don't be like 4chan. Okay. I don't have a segue for that. Fair point, fair point. Be like the crime fighters on 4chan. Don't be like the I want to boink Cinder's breasticles, bro. No, he's onto something. No, he's onto nothing. He is onto nothing. There's nothing to be onto right now. There's nothing. Also, AIDS again. Whatever.
See you in the next video, whenever that is. Mwah!
That's funny. Yikes. All right. Well, that's about okay. Well, I guess I'll wait for the ads to end. What a crazy thing. What an absolutely nuts. Oop. All right. What an absolute doozy, right? All right, chat. I don't have anything else planned. Oh, if you guys are still here and you haven't already, please do me a favor, drop a follow, join the Discord. The I hate it here, dude. I forgot to turn on my light. Shut up, chat. Okay. If you guys haven't already and you're still here, do me a favor, drop a follow, join the Discord using the Discord command, and you guys know the drill. Stay safe, stay sexy, stay blessed. I'll catch you beautiful sons of guns in the next one. Also, stay away from crazy women and men like that. Like that. So, peace, dudes. Never? Okay, well, you stay safe then. Because Lord knows you're going to need it. Peace.